Ah, good evening. Welcome to another episode slash edition slash installment of Free Thinkers. I'm one of your hosts, Q. Got another host, Denise. Nikki be somewhere around here soon. And we had the conversation. We've come to the conclusion that we are a discussion group. Not going to use we're a discussion group that not afraid to go into debates. So Free Thinkers is it's a conversation that we talk about anything and everything, whether it's taboo, whether it's fun, whether it's emotional. It could be a variety of things, but we tackle it and we get into it, and we don't run from nothing. Even when some of the hosts want to run from it, we still not going to run from
it. When the hosts want to run from it.
I didn't say which host. I just said even when a host want to run.
Yeah, a lot of us out here, so I'm just wondering what you're talking about.
It's three of us. It could have been. I could have been talking about any of us now. Now one of our hosts oftentimes like to say hit dog a holler, so I don't know. You figure out what that means.
Well, that'd be me. So
see, I ain't say that either. I just put it out there.
Well, referring to me, obviously.
I didn't know that. You don't. Nobody knows. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but when you say that, they know that you're talking about me.
So guys, we will feel free. Like I said, just come with an open mind, come with open thoughts. We may argue points, but we don't argue people. So as long as we're respectful, then everybody's always welcome. Since we are not directly on Facebook, where can they find the link at, Nikki?
The link to join the conversation is pinned to the top of the Facebook Free Thinkers group page.
Okay.
But we are streaming live over on the YouTube channel, which is Free Thinkers Live. Yeah, so if you want to talk with us, I mean, you can chat with us on our personal streams that we forward from our page. But if you want to talk with people like in the conversation at one time, go to the YouTube. Go to the YouTube link and the Free Thinkers Worldwide. Go to the YouTube stream, and then in the live chat, everybody we can communicate in there. So it's just a really good place. It's a really good place to chat at. But if you want to join the conversation, you have to go over to the Facebook Free Thinkers group page, click on the StreamYard link, and then it will bring you into the panel as a live guest. So you got two different ways, but it's not streaming to Facebook Live. It is on our personal Facebook pages and the YouTube channel.
There we go. So that's the opportunity for you to reciprocate the activity. If you're listening to us on YouTube, you need to go to the Facebook page and join the Facebook page, the group, so that you can get on there. And if you see the link on the Facebook, then you need to come over to YouTube and join the YouTube subscription page. Make sure you subscribe, share, like, comment. Be a part of the big arguing family. All right. So just keep in mind, whenever you get in here, have something in your ears so that the sound does not bleed. Also keep in mind that there will be adult content and adult language. So, just be prepared for that. And thicken up your skin a little bit. Don't come in here sensitive. And then you'll be all right, especially today's topic. It could get a little sensitive, even though, you know what, this is what I realized also. It probably get more sensitive for some people. I've heard a lot of sentiments and emotions out here on these social media streets. But for those of us who...
they out here too. They out here, boy.
Kind of like whatever, we can be kind of callous in our statements. Oh shoot! But yeah.
But do you think that makes us whatever, as opposed to just how we deal with this is what it is? Like, how long are we gonna how are we gonna handle spilled milk? Right? You can't put spilled milk back in the bottle, so.
I think it comes off as whatever to us. Like, just for instance, I say this many times. I don't really have faith or any strong affiliation with the two-party system in general. I don't heavily lean to one side or another, and I don't have faith in either side that is in power or control. So my emotional investment is extremely limited, where others have heavy emotional investment in the outcome of the election and other things. So I know I seen so many people getting their fill. I'm like,
oh man,
and I'm so like I'm like, this is boring. What's wrong with y'all?
a
Like,
lot,
just crying and crying and crying. So, guys, if you don't know already, we ready to jump right on in, and you better get in because, like I told Denise before this started, 9:30 Central Time hit. Y'all can keep talking if y'all want to, but y'all gonna see my my little screen go blank, and then you gonna see a cute little picture of a little baby right there, and that's gonna be the exit for me.
Typically, when you off screen,
that's gonna be the exit for me right there. I'm letting y'all know. It's long day, long week, so we're gonna get it in real quick. So we're gonna get some observations and just talk about. It's funny the way Nikki worded this. She said the aftermath of the election. The aftermath. Like it's just the destruction, devastation.
Well, according to the emotional state on, within the first 12 hours of this shit, right? Like it was serious, so you talk about people, you talk about maybe some of us having like a whatever attitude, right? Or, vibe to us. There was people who, was really messed up about this. So it is aftermath for some people. They still really feeling it a week later.
So let me ask both of you, did the two of you watch the election segment on that too? Did you watch it in real time? Were you like following what was going on as it was happening?
No, I didn't follow at all. I did what I did whenever Trump ran the first time. Well, the first time I watched a little more, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I I looked at it, and I was like, oh, Trump's gonna win. And then I just went to sleep and woke up the next morning and was like, and went to work, and people were in shambles, and I was like, okay. And mind you, I'm living in Texas at the time. I'm living in Austin. So I was a little taken aback by how, but Austin's fake liberal. But
so you wasn't with us at Genuine Joe's when that, because I remember when that happened, we was
already gone. Either she
was in Texas.
No, I was in Texas. I wasn't gone yet.
Were you in Austin, or were you like more?
I was in Austin. Yeah, I was in Austin.
Free thinkers. We went from Genuine Joe's straight to Trudy's and watched the election results at Trudy's.
No, I think I just kind of knew he was gonna win and didn't really. You know what I mean? That's one of those things like and I was already checked out because they didn't pick Bernie, so I was already checked out anyway. And
yes, that's me too. When they came off, because I feel like they just handed it to Hillary, and I was like. I feel the emotion and the momentum was everybody was with Bernie. And then when they just all of a sudden it was like Hillary's gonna be I was like, really? That's not what I'm feeling, and that's not what I'm seeing.
That's what I think I learned. And I don't know how old I was when it was that particular cycle. I was obviously mid-30s, right? Like I would say maybe young to mid-30s for me.
It had to be 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, like almost 10 years ago.
Or end of 15, something like that.
So yeah,
like definitely 9 years ago.
Definitely mid-30s. That for me was, I think, the time where, because that's the last time I voted. But I think that's where it became apparent to me that they really don't care about us, because we actually could have had some major things change with Bernie that would have really helped a lot of people in a lot of different places across the board. And it didn't even seem like it was going to take a bunch of fucking money from somebody else. Like he had reasonable solutions and like logical ideas to like help the regular person, and we didn't even need it, I don't think, as bad then as we do now. But for them to literally be like, yeah, we're never gonna give it to Bernie, to know that we wanted Bernie, and they're like, yeah, no, you're gonna go get Hillary over here. They just continue to give us
these names be killing me.
Nikki's gonna go all the way.
She got to name every politician.
You gave a full disclaimer before we started. Like somebody told me, somebody was like, yeah, that's why StreamYard trying to charge y'all arm and a leg. Y'all want to talk about this shit? We're going to charge you to talk about this. But, so they continue to give us piss poor options, right? Because when Bernie was an option, he was a pretty viable option if
I agree.
If that position had the power that they want us to think that it has, but it doesn't. So really, for me today, you fast forward almost 10 years later, it doesn't matter who I go vote for. I don't know, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, right? It doesn't matter because they're literally going to put in there whoever the establishment wants to be the face of the puppet machine. So, but Bernie could have really, I think, done some things. And I loved what he said last week. He was like, Democrats fucked up. And that's basically what we've been saying. Like,
that's what he said.
If it were a party thing, y'all fucked up.
See if you can pull that statement up, Q. See if you can pull that statement up. That statement, I was like, "Oh, he's still talking that talk."
Yeah. and no one's talking about it. It gets no attention like the way that it should. Like, people should be jumping all over that, but they know he's telling the truth.
Yep.
They have a lot of damage control they got to do. They met people with twerking. Come the on. Like, this is not it. Like, this ain't it. The other dude wasn't either, but if these are the two you're going to give us, that's no.
Get your booty to the polls. That was the most demeaning, and I was like, oh goodness. Get your booty to the polls.
Q, I gotta call you out.
Call me. I bet you I got an answer.
Bring them out. Bring them out. We need a little sound effects. What?
We need a sound effect.
Bring them out.
Now, Q, you was going in on the non-voters when we had the voting conversation. Here's a question I have for you.
Call me a vote shamer.
You was vote shaming us. You was not for the non-voters. You was shaming the non-voters.
That you are.
But
you are a vote shamer.
I feel like they were trying to give you chitlins for your vote, if you will. That's what I felt like they were doing. How do you feel now? How do you feel now about how they tried to, what they were presenting to you in terms of getting your vote?
Where you been at, Denise?
I just don't remember. I just remember
I said this even the last one. Remember to get your booty to the poll thing? I was like, that is disgusting. And don't tell me about woman's body and they're trying to grab a younger demographic. And Nikki, do you remember me talking about that?
In regards to like the sexual part of the campaign?
The pandering that the Democrats was doing to try to get black people to vote. Remember they had the strippers talking about get your booty to the poll?
Yeah. I'm talking about not last season, this season.
Yeah,
so,
last cycle. Yeah.
Again,
this
Denise,
season you was talking big shit.
No, Denise, so first of all, you ain't been listening to me, Denise.
I'm sorry.
What I clearly said is the presidential election, your vote has little to no influence in the presidential election.
Okay, you're right. Mm-hmm. You did say that.
I said when people get it in their minds to start focusing on local, non-electoral college voting, then you can see the benefit. And that's kind of where our breakdown in our argument was with that.
That's
so
true.
Again,
That's
with
true.
the presidential thing, I've not been under the impression that my vote counts because I don't believe it really does. And I've been saying it.
Yeah.
So then why would a person vote? So like literally what would be the point if you know it doesn't count, if you believe in the electoral college, if you believe in the difference between that and the weight of the popular vote, like if a person or a friggin' state for that matter, if they know your vote is just for show, it means nothing. It means nothing. It's just a count, but it means nothing. Like if that's the case, why even go vote? If it means nothing, what are those people in those states getting themselves so emotionally wrapped into?
Listen,
it doesn't even fucking care. Like, so what are they doing to us that makes us believe that we have to fight each other and be at each other's neck because one does or doesn't vote or does or doesn't vote a way that one likes when it doesn't count anywhere in your state? Like that delusionary to me. Delusional to me.
So something may not count in numerically or in actuality, but it can count in principle. And what I mean by that is, you have a response to that, Denise? so what I mean by that is, yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna let you finish.
So part of the reason why Trump was winning is because he reached out the last 2 times he's won, and even the 3rd time that he's come close. He was willing to reach out to the forgotten. Everybody
only won one time, except for this
won twice. He won twice, and he came very close. the 3rd time in between.
Okay, gotcha.
And the reason he won the first time when they didn't think he was going to win, and he came close the second time, and he won the 3rd time, he was willing to reach out to the voiceless and those that people felt like their voice didn't matter. Everybody was going after the large electoral count. So we got to do rallies in California and New York and all of the swing states, Pennsylvania, Florida, Georgia, Wisconsin, any potential swing states. But there are 50 states in this country, and the large majority of people living in those states were their needs and their what was important to them was not being paid attention to. And Trump, whether he was telling the truth or not, he went out to those podunk states. He went out to the Nebraskas and the Wyomings and the places no other politician really didn't care to go. And he made them feel like they were being heard. And he's been winning because of that. If you just look at the demographic makeup of which states voted Trump and which voted Biden, like by state, he got like 85-90% of the states. With those little 3 and 5 and 11 electoral college votes, they added up once he kept getting all of them. So now, so hold on. So let me say this, and let me bring this full circle. That's why I said it counts in principle. So what the Democrats are going to have to do now, all this time that y'all kept overlooking and bypassing and not paying attention to them because you thought their couple little electoral votes wasn't important enough. When you see how it adds up, now you got to go back and start paying attention to, okay, I'm sorry, since we need your vote, what is it that you really want? They also realize this. Let me say this on the second side too. One of the best things, and I'm really talking backwards right now, one of the best things that happened was that not even the majority, but a larger percentage of black men started voting for Trump. Because the Democrats kept thinking that we just got the black vote in the bag and we don't have to do anything to get it. You just gonna vote Democrat because you're black. Matter of fact, I said this on High IQ. Biden actually said 4 years ago, well, if you don't vote for us, then you ain't black. Like, they're. Anyway, I'm gonna let you jump in, Denise. Now,
you remember when we were arguing and I said they did nothing for our vote and that we're the only generation of people to vote for Democrats with them giving us nothing. And that's why, like, I never
said vote Democrat, Denise.
Well, I'm just saying we're the only ones that vote Democrat specifically.
But I that's not what I was saying. I actually proposed, I think what's best for me, what I think people should do, especially people like you, Denise, and Nikki, who don't believe in the process and you think it's all BS. I think if everybody who really felt like the whole process was BS and needs to be done upside down, they need to actually start listening to the cares of the people, just vote independent. Think about this. If everybody who kind of didn't care, don't vote. If you don't like the two-party system, don't vote for either party, but vote independent. And think about this. Say 12, 13, 16% of the whole population voted independent. Now, Republicans and Democrats, even though I don't care for the two-party system, but both of them will be like, that's 16%. What is it that they're looking for? What is it that we want? Because if we get that 16%, then we got it. Now they're going to have to start catering to what it is that you're looking for.
That's a good point.
What's your agenda? We got to, because that 16%, we can win it. And if we don't get it, then if they get it, then they're going to like. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that even though your vote doesn't count in actuality, on paper, it counts in principle, because they're both, if they see that this is a voting person that's not voting for me, and they're not voting for the other side, so they don't have the strong affiliation to either side, we can actually get them if we know what it is that they're looking for. Let us add some of their agenda onto our platform. That's all I'm saying.
That's a good point. I mean, that's a good point. It's data. It's something that they can point to as a number. But on the other hand of data, I think I heard like white men did, like younger white men didn't really vote as much as like the last go round. Is something I saw. I don't know what the stats are, but I saw something and pertaining to like, there were, I guess, whatever the group of younger white men that voted for Biden, like Kamala didn't get that group. Like it was a significant drop. And I don't think they necessarily voted for Trump either. Like they just didn't vote at all. So that was like interesting kind of stat that spoke to not voting and seeing the difference, you know, with that from season to season or election to election. Okay. I got a question, y'all. Have y'all noticed this, and what do y'all think the purpose of this is? Have y'all noticed that it kind of immediately, even though Black men were the second largest group to vote for Kamala, that it became y'all's fault that she didn't win?
Immediately.
What do you think the purpose of that is?
Immediately.
Because they think they deserve 100% of the Black vote, even though they don't do anything for the Black vote. And they kind of, it's an expectation of our ignorance. They expect us to be ignorant. They expect us to not have an agenda and not want to stand on anything. And we're going to do it just out of blind allegiance. Black women do it, so then the black men are supposed to follow the Black women. Like, come on.
Now, okay, let's get into that. And I almost feel like I don't know. I feel like there is some sort of revolution going on. Even if people don't agree with people voting for Trump, I think the fact that people, that specifically Black people, are like, no, we're not going for the same old okie doke. It may not be what we want still, but we ain't going for the same old okie doke. Y'all gonna have to find some kind of new method. Because I feel like, and I just feel like people in general, because you know, when Obama was running, he had so many celebrity endorsements. He had Jay-Z, Beyonce, Oprah. And at that time, for people who were probably too young to remember this, having names like that and celebrity endorsements like that was like, that was a big deal. Now people are not as celebrity like focused, and they've kind of like decentralized celebrities as like people that they go to for advice and things. And so I'm feeling like, it didn't work this time, because she had Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Cardi B, all these heavy hitter, big name people, and it did not influence people to vote for her. So I feel like we're starting to get away from that idea of like celebrities swaying how we view politics.
I don't know. Maybe that's possible. I'm not sure. It also could be possible that you're just in a different age demographic now, so it don't influence you as much. And since it don't influence you and your circle as much, then you don't see how it influences other people the same way.
That's true. Because that
like,
was,
you know what I'm saying? Kamala standing next to Beyonce 18, ain't doing nothing for
19, 20, something like that, whenever they were doing that, and it was working. Well, actually, it wasn't working. I was just like, eventually, I just started vibing with them. I just started liking them after a while.
I mean, but I like Jay-Z. I like, name my favorite rappers. If I heard my favorite rapper was endorsing, that wouldn't make a difference to me. So, now I tell you hold on. Let me tell you, the only thing that made it didn't even make a difference for me, but it made me turn my ears up a little bit different. When Joe Rogan endorsed Trump, I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Let me at least. I gotta listen to this interview. I need to hear a little bit.
Oh, I watched
and
it in
not
full.
even that I agree with him, but I want to hear what people are hearing him say. Because anybody who's a podcaster or a free thinker, Joe Rogan ain't no stupid man. Joe Rogan is one of the more intelligent people I've ever listened to.
He knows
so
you
don't you don't make the assumption that he's this blind coming, easily influenced type of person just gonna talk out the side of it. Like, no. I'm like, so what is it that he's hearing that other people are not hearing? It's not influencing me, but it did make me want to listen a little bit harder to say, what is it that people are hearing about him that maybe we're not paying attention to?
Did you hear anything that you agreed with? That you were like, actually,
I didn't get through the whole 3 hour. I listened to about an hour and 20 minutes. No, but see the whole thing. So, and I'll let Yehuka and I jump in after this. That don't matter. There's always been plenty of things that I agreed with Trump. I do agree with better border control, even though I totally disagree with the way that you handle the people once they're over here. I can't rock with you on that, but I do believe that you should focus more on what we meddle too much in foreign affairs, and we spending our dollars and our money way too much in foreign affairs versus taking care of home first, which I agree with that as well. So there's several things that I agree with what he did, but that's not my issue. My issue is, this is where I lean more toward Nikki, and I'm not sure about you, Denise, but the person in office makes very little difference. They are representation of the party, and the party is a representation of the billionaires that's funding the parties.
Ooh.
So whatever side that they on is going to make very little difference. But I do believe in representation. And I don't want the leader of our world to be a damn fool and talk about people eating cats and dogs and be openly racist. Make sure your racism is behind closed doors. Like, be a good representative. No, because I believe all of them are. No, all of them are. And I believe almost every person practices in a form of racism, whether you're the one who perpetrating it or the one you're accepting to go getting everybody else to go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I want someone to be a good representative. And I think he's a very poor representative of, I don't want this to be the face of our country. That's my issue with him more than anything.
Agreed. I'm like, when I say I'm 1,000% there's a lot of policies or things that he spoke to that I was like, oh, this might be all right. It's literally the representation. It's just like, yes. I just cannot support that. It's like, I don't think he's racist. I do think he plays that shit up though. I think I think he's just as racist as Biden is.
I said, I think he's just as racist as Biden. And just as racist as Kamala Harris.
Running the first time. The first time he was running, and it was whatever night they were doing the presidential debates, like one of the first times they all get to meet each other, and which is crazy, right? Remember when there was like 8 candidates on stage? Now there's 2. Like, what happened to all those?
It was like 15 of them. Yeah, it was like crazy. It was a bunch of them.
During that debate, a comment about him being racist had come up, and he's like, "I'm the least racist person in this room," and I was like, he's probably telling the fucking truth.
But all of them kind of shut up.
We racist in this room. I'm just the least racist. It's these other white motherfuckers in here. Y'all got it right out, and it's like, well, he wasn't lying. I'm quite sure about that, but I don't think the guy should get any credit for being any bit decent, because I don't think that he is. But I think that there's a part of him that doesn't give a fuck, and I have to appreciate that as somebody who equally doesn't give a fuck. And he's hopefully going to do a few things that the others won't do. And I don't know, maybe give us a leg, delay the Civil War. I don't know, World War III. I don't know.
He gonna speed that up.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Or maybe he does,
it's gonna happen, Denise. Biblically, it's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna happen in his term period, but it is going to happen.
At this point, I hate for it to be the case, but it should crumbling down before it can get built back up. And, I want to kind of go back to what y'all were talking about a little bit ago with data, right? And the collection of the information. If you have 16% of people voting for the independent party, then those same 16 can say, I withhold entirely until you give me somebody that's quality, until I even believe that this shit means anything, until I treat you as though you actually care about us. I'm going to withhold my spending power. And I say this all the time when we get into this conversation. There are things that we can do that say, you know what, fuck that 16% and that independent vote. I'm making a decision every single day, and eventually those daily decisions make a big difference. So then I don't need to vote. You got 25% less of your consumers putting money in your pocket. You've got 60% reduction of consumers using your product. Like, fuck a vote. I don't need to vote. I can show you right now with how I control my dollar, and eventually I guarantee you we wouldn't have to wait 4 years for the next change to come through. It wouldn't take long. But like I'm not, and there was a time where I thought about voting independent because I still had this emotional attachment to this necessity as an American citizen that I have to fucking vote. No, I just don't. I don't, right? And I think that, going back to the beginning of this conversation where I asked if you know that your vote doesn't count because you don't live in an electoral college state, and then you just said within moments of Kamala losing, it was all black men's fault, but they had the second highest category of people who voted for her. It's fucking working. What they're trying to do is working, and we just keep sucking into it for the next 4 years and the next 4 years. And I understand all of the reasons why people are passionate about this subject. Like, I do. But, to your point, you feel like people are, maybe engaging less. And Q, you said maybe it's just our age. But I think that people are genuinely waking up. I think that we're plugged in enough to where we've seen enough cycles of this where it's like, man, come on. And it's only getting worse. Like, people are fed up, but we're not fed up enough.
Hey, and hopefully
we'll
all the air out the conversation. You like,
let me double dutch and jump on in there. Let me double dutch jump in there. I want to land back off.
No. Hold on a second. I hear what you're saying, Nikki. I'm just saying, like, we can't even talk about Nikki's. Like, we shouldn't be doing none of this in the first place.
We shouldn't. I mean, if we want results, we can bitch for another 4 years, and we can be. People were fucked up the day that it was confirmed that she lost. People were
okay. Well, okay. So Nikki, let's
they feelings.
And let's sit on that for a while, and then we just go back to the concept of voting itself. It was Denise's fault; she the one started it. But let's talk about the
do that
just kind of the sentiments of it a little. Let's just talk about the actual happening of it, and then we can talk a little bit more about if it should be. But I don't want to deter you, Yahuka. Now, what were you gonna say about this before we go further into how you felt at the time and other things?
Nikki said something very key that I have my thoughts on it as far as reserving my right to vote. Because I was thinking about it, it's like not every American citizen voted during this president election or any other president election for that matter. Like not every American citizen vote. You only have a percentage of those that do vote, and the other percentages don't. And I haven't really delved into doing my homework in regards to the two candidates or whatever candidate, maybe in previous time or current time, as far as their political career and whatnot. So even though my ancestors have paved the way and trailblaze of my right to vote, I also have the right to reserve my right to vote if I don't feel that the candidates are adequate enough to fulfill their duties when they get into office, as far as what they promise that they said that they were going to do, and they get in there and they don't do shit. Yeah. They don't do nothing. They do the complete opposite.
And then we beat each other up for the remainder of 4 years. And then other up again as soon as the next two buffoons that to give us run. It's like, how many times are we going to do this to each other?
Yeah. So yeah, the American people deals with the aftermath of whatever president that goes in office, and they don't fulfill what they said they were going to do. I won't get into the specifics to belay that, but I just wanted to land back on what Nikki said. As far as I do have a right to reserve my right to vote if I don't feel the candidates are adequate enough to receive my vote, and I felt that because the last time I voted was during the Obama administration, of the Obama term. But I don't feel that the candidates are adequate enough to fulfill the position of the presidency, which, truth be told, they're not even running the goddamn show. They're just a puppet in regards to what's being put in place. I'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, before we say anything else, I think we got Toby on here. Toby, is you on?
What's up, Toby?
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
What's
Toby.
going on? Now, if I do remember, you correct me if I'm wrong. You were a supporter of Trump. Is that correct?
That's not correct.
Okay. I guess give us your thoughts on that. I maybe I was just arguing with you for the wrong reasons when we were live on Freethinkers. Maybe I kept saying that you were because I felt that you really were undercover. But just give us some of your feedback about just overall after the election and what you thought.
Okay, let me clarify it so it's understood. My whole point for the election was it need to my vote need to represent Black people, foundational Black Americans.
Yeah.
Neither candidate spoke on it. Kamala Harris tried to fool us with a Black agenda plan that was for everybody, and that made me not want to vote for her more. I like Trump. I'm not sad or mad that Trump won. I'm actually happy that he won because at least he'll be able to take care of the borders and get the economy straight. So if Trump would have said anything about Black people or promoted anything or have anything in place, he would have had my vote. But since he didn't, I couldn't do it.
Mm.
So instead I voted for Cornel West, even though I know they ain't going nowhere.
I thought about that. Yeah, I did think of it. No, no, that's not bad at all, actually.
I respect it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Toby,
let me ask you.
Let me say this. What's crazy what's wrong with the Democratic Party? And I've been a Democrat all my life. I'd say majority of my life is that if you don't agree with a Democrat lockstep and key, you're the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
I've registered people. I can't count how many people I registered, knocked on people's doors, called on the phone for multiple campaigns. And this is a cycle where I'm looking at how far the Democrats going with this LGBT, with sexualizing kids, men playing women's sports, all type of crazy stuff. And the Democrats' main platform is aborting babies. That's their main stand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can't get with it. And when somebody say that and voice that out, you're the enemy. All the years that you work with Democrats, all the years you've done is just, you just a coon, or you a Trump supporter. They don't even hear what you said.
Mm-hmm.
You're a Trump supporter. So, and that's what turns me off more. It's like you just everything is mute.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need anything anymore. So, didn't go.
No, because everybody wants to be polarizing. They want to put you in the box. Are you on this side or are you on that side? They don't want you to have nuance. They want, because it's easy for people to feel like they know you or to stereotype you once they can put you in the box.
Yeah.
Let me tell you real quick the three things. Well, these are the things that I felt were Democrats messed up. Number one, they waited too long to switch out Sleepy Joe. They should have got him. They should have made that decision way earlier. They even tried to have him go into a debate with him, and they waited way too late. Not only to put Kamala on, but for Democrats and for the American people, Kamala was forced upon everyone because it was Biden at one point in time. Then all of a sudden, like, oh, nope, it's going to be Kamala. Like, okay, well, we didn't get a chance to choose who we wanted to represent if it wasn't going to be Biden. So they messed up with that.
I'm sorry, Q. Can I get a quick comment real quick? I'll just be real brief.
Hold on. Is it pertaining to what I just said? Because I got just a couple more things I wanted to add in.
No, it's pertaining to
Okay, hold on just a second now. Hold on. Let me just give my rundown, and you can respond off with whatever else you want to off of that. So they waited too late to get him in. That number two, Democrats keep using the same fear-mongering scare tactics that wasn't going to work. You can't keep scaring people talking about, well, if Trump get in office, it's going to be the end of the world. You did that the last time. He's already been in office, and it wasn't the end of the world. Exactly. For most people, your life didn't even change that much. So you trying to tell us it's going to be the end of the world if Trump get in office, nobody believes that. Tell us what you're running on versus trying to scare us away from him. It's almost like a Christian principle when everybody tell you, you got to get saved or you going to hell, You can only try to scare people for so long. It's not going to work if you just keep trying to do that. So,
but it does work because
it don't because she's not in office. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
So it just you can't keep doing that. That's just one of those things that you should have ran. You should have told us what you were for instead of just trying to tell us who to vote against. It was weak to me. Now, again, the third thing I was going to say is the same thing that Toby said. These Democrats have gone way too far with this LGBTQIA agenda. Not even from the standpoint of equality. The average person wants everybody to be treated the same. But you keep pushing the trans rights so far when it comes to you trying to give felons sex changes with our tax dollars. You're promoting kids to have these sex changes. Like, this is some crazy stuff.
Without telling the parents.
If you sitting up here telling, like the same kids that don't have the ability to drink, smoke, or vote, you saying they get the choice to chop off their genitalia, like, that's crazy. And you trying to tell us no matter what, it's a girl. So this person who's been a boy for 15 years and now a girl can compete in all these sports. There's a large population of people who don't rock with that. And they are alienating a lot of people in their own base by that. And now they're going to have to go back and fix some of that stuff. Anyway, those were the main thoughts that I thought that they fell off of that.
Anthony, without their party of people who that is their cross, right? The LGBTQ thing, if that's their cross and that's why they're wholeheartedly Democrats. Like, what are the Democrats gonna do? They're gonna like change their mind. Like now they're going against like that.
You remember what Dave Chappelle said? They all riding in the same car together, but that don't mean they really on the same team. They just trying to get the same vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Yehukanan, say something. I know Yehukanan was waiting, and then Denise jumped right in. I'm sorry, Denise.
Yeah, I want to add something that Toby said regarding Trump, because I heard a few people spoke on this in regards to what Trump did in his first term, in regards to aiding or assisting Black people. Not only to mention in regards to he had the economy kind of like in a very stable area as far as before inflation happened. But somebody mentioned something that I want to look into or want to get into. It's the HR 40 bill. Which goes into the proposal for reparations for African Americans. So in regards to Trump, he was doing some things that were under the radar that wasn't paid attention to, that some people have pointed out that I have listened to in regards to this political election for presidency that he has done in regards to giving some type of aid to Black people in regards to something that Obama could have did in his term that he didn't do. So I just wanted to point that out. You guys can look it up. I'm gonna look it up myself though, but I'm just giving you a snapshot as far as what the HR bill is in regards to giving the African Americans the right to make a proposal for reparations. So I just wanted to throw that in there
I will say
in regards
this.
to Trump.
I will say this. When Trump was in office, he signed off on something to where HBCUs would be getting more money.
Yeah, they say he did that.
From the government than they had ever gotten before. And as soon as Biden got in there, he cut that. And I distinctly remember that because I went to HBCU. And I remember feeling some type of way about that. Because to me, that is a direct attack on the Black community. Because
we just gonna give y'all Juneteenth so y'all can dance and celebrate and barbecue.
Right. And like I said, I went to HBCU and I was going to HBCU during the Obama era, and we were heavily affected by just the budget cuts that they were doing in general for higher education, period. But even more so at an HBCU, some people were even having to graduate like a semester later because a teacher was not available because they had to do cuts when it came to the teachers. Now, granted, this is during the mortgage crisis. This is 2009, 2010, you know what I mean? So it's crazy outside. I didn't recognize how crazy it was because I was in college, so I didn't understand until I got out of college how bad it was then. But he was trying to give us some money, and he did give us some money, and your boy Biden came in and cut that right up, and nobody spoke about it. And so it's interesting, to Toby's point, which I commend you, Toby, for one, happy Veterans Day. But also being a veteran and being able to say, hey, I just want to see, if Trump would have had this thing, I would have voted for him, and being bold enough and brave enough to say that in this day and age where they attack anybody, much, especially a Black man, for having a stance. It's, to me, the way the Democrats operate, they operate like slave owners. They really, really do. Don't go against massa. If you do, you'll be whipped in front of everybody. You can't even have an opinion. You can't even question anything that they say or do without everyone attacking you. And then all of a sudden, everybody hates Black women just because we didn't vote for Kamala, who wasn't always having a hard stance on even being a Black woman. So it's just very interesting to me that the level of control and manipulation that the Democrats do, and all the division that they try to create, especially within the Black community. And I just absolutely hate it because, and then another thing, somebody came up to me in tears. A white man came up to me in tears. The day that Trump won, and asked me if I was okay. And I was like,
God, are you okay?
I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm cool. I'm not really. I had the heart to tell them I didn't vote because they was broke. They was breaking down. I had the heart to tell them. I was just like, if we gonna be all right. I said, remember how it was before we all came together and everything was good? We gonna be all right.
You in a blue state though. We in a red state over here. They ain't no.
But I feel like even like people are feeling guilty about this. There's so much emotion that people are attaching to this. I feel like a lot of some of the Black women that are mad about this have personalized this, because if she would have won, that would have been their personal victory as well. But let me tell you something. Your self-esteem doesn't need to be wrapped up in another person's wins or losses. You are you regardless. You know what I mean? And I feel like even that is a fact. Why Black women are like, oh, Black men this, because hey, sweetheart, your baby daddy did you wrong. I get it. Maybe your daddy wasn't shit. I get it. But this is not the time to blame all Black men for this one thing, because this other person didn't have their policies together. Because to assume that she lost because there was some sort of hatred for her, which maybe a couple of people did hate her. Maybe some racist people.
I think there is a portion of men who don't want to have a woman be the leader over them.
Right, but you cannot discount the fact that the policies weren't there. If the policies were there, and she had,
hold on, Denise.
What?
Trump ain't had a whole lot of policies either. They asked him about a plan, and he said, "I have a concept of a plan." He wasn't giving nothing.
Now that hold on. That was he was talking about the healthcare. That's when he was talking about.
Well, that's freaking important, Toby. If you're talking about getting rid of,
just be honest. They said it was about the healthcare, and he said that if he can't come up with something that's better than Obama's plan, he's gonna keep it at that. But if he come up with something better, he'll do it. But if not, he'll leave it alone.
That's okay, but that there go his lying ass talking off two sides of his mouth, because he also talking about he gonna get rid of Obamacare. He say whatever fit him at the time and at that moment, and then they like, if you keep talking about you're gonna get rid of it, what are you gonna replace it with? Do you have a plan? And not only that, hold on, Denise, so I'm going right now. You've been in office 4 years and you didn't come up with no plan. I'm sorry, you were in office after Obama. You had a full 4 years to come up with a plan that was better than the plan that they had for universal health care. You didn't do nothing. So everybody tell the truth on that too. And now you had 4 years in office and you had 4 years to sit on the sideline. And the best you can come up with is, I have a concept of a plan. See, people start, that's that Kool-Aid drinking. Whenever you like somebody, then you listen to what you like and you disregard what you don't like. That's why I said Jesus Christ, Donald Trump, and Kanye West gonna always get people apologizing for him and speaking up for him some type of way.
No, I wasn't apologizing. I was basically just keeping it. It's like they to be honest. That's all. Because
no, Toby. Toby. You jumped in on his behalf. Toby, you just jumped in on his behalf.
No. That was the time that I didn't like Trump at all. I was pissed because I was full Obama at that time. I'm just keeping it 100.
But you just jumped in on his behalf, though.
I'm being honest about it across the board. That's it.
Let's be okay. Are you going to be honest across the board?
Keep it a biscuit, Toby. Keep it a biscuit.
He's had 8 years to come up with a plan. If he said that Obamacare needs to go, if he had 8 years to come up with a plan, and the best he can do is say, I have a concept of a plan.
Yeah, he off on that. Yeah, he's just gonna leave it alone because he couldn't do it.
Okay, so like I said, he making up some stuff too. All right, that's all.
Okay, let me be specific. Oh, I love when we get spicy. But anyway, let me be specific. It's not even that she didn't have policies. I think it was the fact that she wasn't taking a hard enough stance on anything besides abortion. It didn't seem like there was ever like this is how I feel. This is my stance on this. Maybe you ain't got no plan. Maybe you ain't got no plan. Your boy didn't really have no plans either, but he made some very hard stances on some things where you were like, okay, I hear you. And it seems like you feel strongly about this thing. Whether you actually have a plan in place or not, because you go on their website and people just saying a bunch of stuff, whether you gonna actually get it done or not is one thing. But take a stance on something that people can really get behind. And abortion is not one of those things. It's not enough people needing to get an abortion like that, bro.
But everything, all of those policies was a trap, though.
Denise,
anything that she said, they would be like, but you're the vice president right now. How come all the stuff that you're saying you want to do, y'all ain't got none of that done? See, Trump, whether he lying or telling the truth, he can go back and say, hey, when I was in office, we did this, we did this, we did this, and we did this. So anything that Kamala said, why are you saying that you would do this and you are in the second seat and you ain't did nothing?
She can't press the button. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give her that.
I know, but it ain't gonna come off right. It ain't gonna come off right.
But she made 33 Senate decisions. She made the most decisions. Every time there was a decision made, she made it. So, and Joe's not all the way there. She made 33 decision making votes in the Senate. That's the most of any vice president. So she had a say and she had a stamp.
So that works against her also. Okay, you voted against this, you did this, and there are certain things that you could press for. How come you didn't press for these things that you said you want to do?
Let me I want to ask you something. You're in New York, right? What part of New York are you?
Brooklyn.
Okay. Being in Brooklyn, which part is I see all the time how New York, I'm really disappointed with New York and Chicago, but being in New York with all the illegal immigrants that's there,
disappointed with a whole city.
Sorry, go ahead.
How do you feel that they've been able to get?
You know how many illegal immigrants there, Toby?
So what?
I said, how do you know how many illegal immigrants there?
It's in the news. It's in the news.
I'm talking.
How do you? I know you talking to her, and I'll jump in too. You still, huh? No, don't try to deflect because you're doing that same stuff that Trump was doing. I know people always do that when they don't want to know. I am going to interrogate your.
He said, "No, you addressing the floor." He said, "No, you addressing the floor."
She lives there.
New York and Chicago is historically a city full of immigrants.
No. That's not what I'm going. Let me get my question out first.
Okay, go ahead.
My question is, with all those illegal immigrants that's been shipped to New York, how do you feel as far as them getting free resources with housing, food, and that type of thing, and also the thought that y'all lost New York? I would think if that happened in the state, everybody would vote, so that people would get them out of there because they kind of messing up y'all city and state.
Who lost New York?
Well, I'm saying that y'all. I'm trying to understand how did New York vote for Kamala?
It's a blue state.
Kamala.
No. I'm trying to understand if all that is going on. How did New York vote for Kamala Harris? And New York
is probably one of the New York City. Is probably one of the most liberal cities in the world. So even though so it's going to be Democrat. Like that's just the way it's going. They're going to vote. And how do I feel about the immigrants getting all this aid while I see people on trains sleep?
He said illegal immigrants. He said illegal immigrants, Denise. He said illegal immigrants.
Illegal immigrants?
That was his question.
Illegal immigrants, I think what he means is the immigrants that they shipped here.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Illegal
not the illegal ones who just can't, but the ones that were actually invited to come into our state.
Yeah, illegal immigrants.
I think that's what he's talking about. The ones who actually, because they get vouchers. They were getting like $1,000 vouchers.
That's what I'm talking about.
And they were staying in 5-star hotels.
That's what I'm talking about.
That I personally walked past that smelled like the Loud Pack while I was being catcalled. So where I'm at the airport and people are being flown in and they have nowhere to go, so they're just sleeping in the airport. Like the fact that everybody started investing in housing, like there was different. I think Meta started investing in housing. And somebody else or whatever started investing in housing, and I just automatically I know what the lick was, because if you guys are giving money to the people who have the housing and then you're giving and then they need somewhere to stay, like that's automatic money that these people are going to get. How do I feel about it? I mean, not to just be like regurgitating what everyone else is saying, but I know it took my mama years to get her 100% benefits when it came to her being a veteran. I know it's a lot of veterans out here that don't have. I know that their parents did not know that they were going to have immigrants sleeping in the gymnasium of the schools for their kids that were in elementary school until the day of. And the parents were not notified. I know that I don't want to say, oh, no one can come here, but why aren't we being taken care of? Why is it that my rent has damn near doubled? I was
get that triple.
Like $750 at one point. I'm paying $1,300. Now that is an extreme number in comparison to other people, but people's rent has increased quite a bit. So it's like the landlords and how we're being treated and all these kind of things like that. Like it baffles me that someone who is not from this country, who does not pay taxes, can get that much more than us, when every time I go to the store, I'm paying $50, $60, and I'm not even doing full groceries. I'm just getting something to make a meal, like, and get a couple protein shakes.
She got a
point. Know what I'm
saying?
Like, it's absurd. So why did they vote that way?
Yeah,
because this is a blue state. How do I feel about it? Either way, as far as how they vote, I'm not tripping off the voting. I'm tripping off I just think it's ridiculous how much they don't care about Americans, how much our money goes everywhere else. It just baffles me in ways that I just cannot.
Here's a better question. How you feel about the no voter ID? Because all the states that Kamala Harris won were no ID. They didn't have to show their ID.
Oh, I heard about that.
I think that's absurd. I can just walk in and just do whatever, and walk in again and just do whatever.
I think that's
again and do whatever.
That's crazy.
Walk in again.
Because how can you gotta show ID to buy alcohol? You gotta show ID to show to drive. You have ID, but you can't have an ID to vote. That doesn't make sense. And the
what states were no voter ID states?
The talking point for the Democrats is that we need to protect the voters' right, because they're gonna try. We need to make sure that the old black person can don't have an ID. I've never had an issue voting at all. That's just
so what did they require of them in order to vote? Did they have to have a light bill, or they have to have some? What did they have to show?
Just say my name is Billy Thompson, and you can vote.
But Billy Thompson also has to be registered, correct?
Yeah, let's say Billy Thompson's dead, and if somebody look it up, oh, Billy Thompson died, blah, blah, he's a registered, blah, blah, blah. I'm going as Billy Thompson. Hey, my name is Billy Thompson. Me and my dad, we had a conversation about this. He think it's okay, but I just thought this scenario that somebody could be dead and come up and just say, my name is Billy Thompson. As long as you catch him on the roll, he can go vote. That person can go vote.
I mean, how we know that it didn't work in Trump's favor? We don't know.
No, you have to show your ID.
What I'm saying is,
if the state doesn't allow something that goes both ways, because even still, once you get in the voter booth, they still don't know who you're voting for.
Yeah.
No. What I'm saying, whoever you vote for, that's your vote. I'm saying you have to show your ID in the places where you have to vote. You got to use your ID. You got to prove who you are with your ID.
I know, but in a state that doesn't require ID, it works both. It can work on both sides.
Yeah, but the thing is that in most cases, that's going to work more to the Democratic side.
Toby. Just observation.
It's just
you sound like a low. You sound like a low key Republican. You keep saying how you.
How do you want to call it? I'm looking at it. I'm just looking at it. I'm looking at it from what I see. I'm calling what I see it. I'm
just saying. I'm just. This is my observation, and the way that you preparing some of these questions.
Well,
they like leaning the way you prepare the questions. Seems like
you tell me all the places that has no voter ID, they're blue. What does that say to you? I'm just being honest.
None of the ones and they all happen to be blue.
All of them.
Alaska, Colorado.
Get put in place.
It's Alaska, Colorado. That's what I'm wondering. Delaware, North Dakota, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming.
You said, say that again, Nikki.
It says these states require non-photo IDs, but may also accept photo IDs to vote in person. Alaska, Colorado, Connecticut.
Hold on, you said You said non-photo IDs.
Non-photo ID.
Well, that's still some form of ID though. But keep going. I'm sorry. Say it again.
Also says you can give street addresses as well. So, Alaska, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, North Dakota.
Alaska was red. Go again.
North
Dakota's red.
Definitely
red. West Virginia's got to be red, and then
West Virginia red
as well.
But you got to show your ID there.
It says you don't. It says non-photo ID.
You gotta show your ID in those states.
It says non-photo ID.
Tell me you.
Dang, I don't know what that is. You told me.
You got these tactics. You keep trying to come in like you neutral, and ain't nothing about you saying neutral.
I'm just pissed. Let me put it like this. I'm pissed at the Democrats. Period.
You knew Cornell wasn't to win. What you mean?
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm pissed at the Democrats because
I don't know if he really voted for Cornell. I think he just.
They've been the one invited to the cookout for over 60 years. They've been the one who's been in our church for over 60 years. They the one who's been talking about, oh, we're gonna help you out. Oh, we're gonna help you out. They the one that my grandma and everybody think, oh, you better vote for Trump.
Get mad, Toby. Get mad because that's when shit.
I'm hypercritical on them. Period.
I don't think Toby voted for Cornell.
Bad, Toby.
You heard me.
My hand to God.
Y'all didn't win. I said, y'all, hold on. I didn't vote for Trump. Hold on, wait.
I ain't gonna. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad they lost. I'm glad. I was hoping they lose.
Okay, so Toby, I'm examining. These are just observations. All this time that you've been talking, you haven't said one thing that Cornel West stand on. What was his agenda?
Let me clarify it. The only reason I voted for Cornel West because he was speaking on reparations. And
okay.
I know he had a black agenda. Matter of fact, Cornel West and Travis Smiley during Obama's term, I didn't like them because they were talking against Obama. Mm-hmm. And I used to say, man, won't y'all just shut the hell up? We got Obama in here and he's trying to let him do his thing. And both Travis Smiley and Cornel West was saying that Obama's not doing enough for he's not doing anything specific for black people. And I was pissed. I didn't like Cornel West.
Why? Because they were truth. They were truth.
So what?
People get mad when they start telling the truth.
And when Obama got out of office, and I really had to reflect and just had an epiphany, it was like
he ain't do shit.
No, he didn't do shit. I mean, he did more for the gay people, illegal immigrants.
Yeah, he did more for them than he did for those.
He did Medicare.
That about his skin complexion.
And Obama phones.
Yeah, and then after that, I got more mad after he left. And then when he did what he did in Philadelphia, I really got pissed. I was like, "This."
What he doing in Philadelphia?
When he was wagging his finger, talking about y'all black men need to support Kamala when she's not even black. She ain't even a black woman. And I said,
wagging his finger like the Kim Baby
about recently.
So what? He was basically just telling black men that you need to vote for Kamala Harris because she's your sister. When she ain't not my damn sister.
No,
that was the reasoning. That was the reason.
She ain't my sister. She ain't grew up in my household.
Yeah, she doesn't have. No, that's not the total. That's a part of it. She doesn't have my cultural lineage.
What I'm saying is, what was the reason he was telling black men to vote for Kamala?
Because she's a Democrat. That's why. I'm talking about Obama when he went to Philadelphia and he was saying that.
Well, he's campaign. What you think they do in campaigns, though, Toby?
No, but he was just talking directly to black men, like pointing his finger at black men specifically. When black men are the most loyal, are the largest and the most loyal Democratic base, rather than talking to white men, rather than talking to white women, rather than talking to Jewish men, you're gonna point your finger at your largest, most loyal base. That makes no common sense.
No, abuse.
I agree with that to some degree.
A family trait, you know. When you abuse and manipulate people, that's what you do. And it goes back to what I said in the beginning of this conversation. All this is working to keep people divided. If we actually came together as one, we'd be a fucking powerhouse. They'd be in trouble, and they know that. So keep throwing politics and keep throwing religion out there, and make sure everybody stays at each other's necks forever.
Keep them at each other's throats.
They got it. They can do whatever they want, and they do. Every single cycle they do. It told me the reason, and it's interesting to kind of watch this transformation, right? Because I feel like I understand why you're upset because you've been fucking tricked your whole life.
Yeah.
You should be upset, right? That's a part of grief. Like you have to go through that. When I used to believe in the fucking voting process. I used to believe in the power of the president. I used to believe that I stood in that line and I casted my vote. It was going to count and it's going to make a difference. I used to believe.
I'm with you, Nikki. Keep going.
I used to believe if you didn't vote, you didn't have a right to complain. I used to think that shit too. I used to think that all those things because that's what we were ingrained to believe made us good or bad Americans or citizens. And since we're so fucking better than everybody else, we had to do these things. To come to find out at like 46 over the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years
Then
of my
fell
life,
for the okie doke.
that shit ain't what it is anymore. And so people, you in particular, are struggling with that ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't it. I've been lied to. I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled. And it's hard to make peace with that because you yourself was trying to sign people up to vote for these people. You believed it that hard. And I get it. It's like giving up any other system that you may have had to give up or question or challenge. Like, this shit don't feel good. But there's power in knowing. There's power in the truth. There's power in breaking free from that shit and thinking freely and, you know, being free in that space where
I can't get Toby that much. He's still giving Trump too much.
Nah, that's what she's saying. What she's saying is exactly.
I hear what you're saying, Nikki, but Toby, you giving Trump a pass.
Hey, Nikki, you muted. You muted.
I'm just more critical of the Democrats because
you muted, Nikki.
And I think that's a problem that you're being more. I think they should be equal. You should be equally critical, but at the same time, you are
critical of Trump about.
Because he grabbing them by the he's a felon.
Oh my God!
That don't matter. I'm sorry, it don't matter to be a felon. It don't matter. It does. Hold on. It doesn't matter that you would lose an election and incite your supporters to go storm the White House. You mean to tell me that don't matter?
Can I?
Hold on. You gonna tell me literally?
Oh, he getting amped up now.
Hold on. Let me give you a couple more.
Let them cook.
Generals and commanders who've been in power for years and years are telling people, and let me make this clear. Out of all the people who are the most neutral, military, you should know this, military generals, they're about protecting the country. And if they feel one way or another, they're looking at who's going to best help us defend this country. They are telling you, American people, this dude is dangerous. Do not vote for him. And y'all not going to pay no attention to them? Happy Veterans Day. Y'all not even listen to the generals who help protect this country.
Hey, Nikki. Hey, Nikki.
Can I respond?
But real quick, just real quick though. If none of that actually matters, why are we?
Respond. Don't kill out all of my argument, Nikki.
Why are we doing this? What?
Hey, Nikki, I want to say something to your point. I want to quote.
Hold on. Before you go to Nikki's point, I asked Toby a question. Right. I just wanted him to respond, and then you can jump in.
Okay.
All right.
The answer is that I remember January 6th. What happened? Those people got out of hand. Trump did send out a message to Nancy Pelosi a day before. He sent out a message telling her that they're gonna need some more security around the White House, around the Capitol. And in his note, he said everybody's be safe. And he gave her the message to send out more security. He sent out January 5th, and that happened on January 6th. So, and what's strange is that tweet, it was taken down because he got banned. So what I'm saying to you, and also there's a video of Nancy Pelosi saying that we made a mistake because they didn't send out more security that on January 6th. She was in the car. She's on video saying we messed up. So what I'm saying to you is that were people passionate about Donald Trump and upset that he lost? Yes, they were. Did he incite a riot by telling them to go up there and tear up the Capitol? No, he didn't. Did people feel passionate to do it anyways? Yes, they did. So
you don't think man got to do with that shit.
What I'm saying.
I told you can't. I told you.
What I'm saying to you.
Toby undercover.
Vote for Trump, Toby. It's all right.
What I'm saying.
All right, let me.
What I'm saying to you is that it's unfortunate that it happened. It shouldn't have happened. But I can't really say that.
I help you, Toby. I did.
He totally did all that.
Where's my Blacks for Trump fucking sticker at?
All right, let me get up in there real quick. I wanna Nikki cooking. I want to say something to Nikki's point. I want to quote Professor Maurice Phibbs. Information is power. If one does not have information, one cannot seize power. Now, she mentioned something about um, voting for a long period of time, and I'm just paraphrasing as far as what she said. And then realize, as far as going into the voting booth, having that energy that the vote's going to count X, Y, and Z, coming to find out that the vote essentially doesn't matter, and finding out that the truth behind the matter, and that comes with the information. And I'll say this: we're in the information age. We're not dumb people, even though society may. And I'm talking about the common folk, like the blue collar people that go out there and do their 9 to 5, or in layman's terms, make $1 out of 15 cents. Those type of people, we're not stupid. We have the internet. The internet has a wide range. It's basically an encyclopedia on steroids. You're able to go and find out information out there on anything. So if we're talking about a political stance, voting that matters, or my vote that matters, you can go out there and research or look at the person that you're voting for and look at their political history. And I'm bringing this up because, even though I haven't delved into politics as much as I would want to or like to per se, I just did a small, because I wasn't going to vote. If I were to vote, I wasn't voting for Kamala Harris. Simply because of her political history, and her track record when she was the Attorney General in the state of California, and what she did when she was in term in office there. So I just wanted to, make that quote and then expound upon that quote as far as information is power, knowledge is power. Once you get the information, you learn better, you do better, and you ain't got to fall for the okie doke all the time, like the general populace is doing every single time we have a presidential term or whatever the case may be. I am with that.
Yeah, I think it's important to ask questions. I think it's important to do research. I think it's important to wonder why, people are getting blamed for things as if like Black men are the reason why the Democratic Party can't get their shit together and be successful. There's got to be something there. There's got to be a reason why there's always so much division. There's got to be a reason why they're trying to convince us things make sense that don't make sense, or things are right that just simply are not right. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. We're all alive and we're going to be fine. But I do wonder why our money is going other places except for here. It's almost like they're trying to break us. And by break us, I mean like make us broke.
Well, it might be broke. The end of the world. This is the part where people don't pay attention to world history and pay attention to what's going on in the world. Trump is Putin got something on Trump. He got something on him, because Trump will not, out of all the people he talk about, he will not say a bad word about Putin, and he lets him do literally whatever he wants to do. And if Putin wants to go start conquering neighboring lands all across the world, Trump is not going to interfere. And the start of World War III could easily happen, because there are no checks and balances within the rest of the world, especially Russia, because he lets them. You got to pay attention. I like giving predictions. Y'all know this, right? Trump back in office, by the end of his term, Putin will probably invade at least 3 more countries. And we're going to see what happened from there. We're going to see the other countries that push back. We're going to see if they create a coalition to fight against Russia. If you paid attention to World War I and II, this is how this stuff starts.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna go no further than that. Just remember, I like just getting stuff on record. And when you start seeing 3 and 4 and 5 and 8 different countries all in war and going up in alliance, that's the beginning of World War III. And Trump is not going to say anything about it. He ain't gonna check them. It's dangerous.
Q. You think he lets Putin do whatever?
What has he stopped Putin from doing? You tell me. Tell me any time that he's reprimanded Putin or he said anything bad about him or he talked about how they shouldn't be invading Ukraine the same way that they talk about other countries. What? Give me 5 bad words he never said about Putin.
He was talking big shit on Rogan. I watched the whole interview.
About Putin?
I saw all 3 hours.
He straight up said, I had a conversation with Putin. I looked him straight in the eyes and I told him, you're not gonna do it. We got on.
He's not gonna do what?
You're not gonna do it. Whatever it is, you're not gonna do it. He said he went.
He sure ain't tell him he wasn't gonna invade Ukraine because he straight up did that.
He said Trump talked to Putin, told Russian leader not to escalate Ukraine.
And what did Putin do? Escalate it?
He's not in office.
This is 1 day ago, 2 days ago.
Are you aware? Let me tell you this, Q. Are you aware?
What did Putin do?
Within 48 hours of Trump being elected, I'm still going to say this. There was a call with Putin to end the Russian-Ukraine war, a ceasefire with Iran. The Hamas called for immediate end to the war, and China hopes to peacefully coexist with America. All that stuff went on in the last 48 hours.
Also, shoot! So it's all because of Trump, right?
also, the big band of migrants coming to America, they disbanded because they know Trump won. There's a lot of stuff going on. I don't agree with everything that Trump does, but
you sure about that, Toby?
Hey, I'll believe what y'all want to believe.
I definitely. I'm telling you, I ain't even trying to hide it.
That's coincidence? You think that's coincidence?
48 hours, everything changed. All Trump about to be. He ain't even in office yet. Let us. We need to straighten up real quick.
Do you think that's coincidence, Q?
Oh, that all of this stuff has happened that he said?
Is it a coincidence that New York mayor is stopping the food, giving the EBT card to the illegals and everything?
Like 2 days later, we're done with the food card.
That happened.
Now, mind you, I gotta provide some context. So, apparently, it was a thing that was supposed to last for a year. So after a year, they decided, okay, we'll cut it off. Now, I will say this. Eric Adams is trying to get himself out of some mess. So he like, look, y'all, we gonna do whatever. He's trying to get out of some mess.
But he did. To his credit,
that has something to do with Trump. It absolutely does. He's trying to get on his good side because they're trying to indict him, and he's trying to get unindicted.
So that means, look, what it tells me, anything that happened 48 hours after a person was elected and not even in office, if you are giving credit, that's just like if the economy went up 10 points all of a sudden and you're like, oh, we got to be anything that you give to somebody that's not even actively in office, you fanboying. I'm trying to figure out another way to say it, but you giving way too much credit to somebody who ain't even did nothing.
Hey, people are just glad that Kamal's getting out, period.
Look at what I just posted. So, obviously he's starting to name people in roles and positions, but apparently Elon Musk. And I can never say the guy's last name, Vivek, whatever.
Who is that guy? I don't know who that is.
He also ran as well. I mean, I would imagine maybe he's red, but I don't remember where he's from. But he ran, and I remember him over the last couple years, cycles, but taps Elon Musk and this other guy, Vivek, whoever, to lead the Department of Government Efficiency. I was like,
what does that mean?
I don't know. I just opened up the link, so let's see. Department of Government Efficiency. Shit, they finna find out where this money is going and if it need to go here or here and fucking make this shit better.
So it's interesting to me that people don't find it a problem that you just skipping the middleman. Now we not even gonna get politicians to do the bidding of big business. We just gonna put big business straight in on the cabinet and have them do it themselves.
That's what they're doing anyway. They just took the fucking mask off.
I know. So you said we don't care if they just take the middleman. Just have them come straight in and have a free fall.
On Nikki's point, as far as with the money, how can people feel comfortable knowing that Kamala Harris raised $1 billion in July and 20 million in the hole this month, and honestly think how would the whole America do under that type of
that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Campaign money. You can't do nothing with that campaign money,
right?
You have to spend the campaign money. You can't do nothing else with it. You got to use it. You have to use campaign money for campaign purposes.
She had way more money than Trump.
What's your point, though?
The point is she spent up a lot of money.
You got to spend campaign money.
Spend money on celebrities, having them lines.
You have to, however you spend it, you have to spend the campaign money. You can't put it in your pocket after the campaign is over.
How you get 20 million in the hole?
The same.
What's 20 million to $1 billion?
To Ukraine and Israel and everything else.
But that's what happens with campaigns. You have to spend. I don't think y'all understand that. You got to spend campaign money. There's nothing else you can do. It can't go to no bank account. It can't go nowhere else but to the campaign.
I'm saying, how do you get 20 million in the hole? That's what I'm asking.
What's $20 million to $1 billion? That's like you having $100 in your bank account and they overdraft you $10. Less than 10. 20 million to $1 billion is nothing. I don't even know why you making a deal out of being 20 something
because
going 20 million over.
$1 billion and still went over. That's what I'm saying. And within less than 6 months. That's what I'm saying.
He's trying to say her financial decisions probably are not to be trusted.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Wow, Toby, goodness gracious, you stretching.
Look at we are in debt, bro.
You're stretching.
We're always
I'm
in
saying,
debt.
What I'm saying is that she spent $1 billion. How you spend $1 billion? How you spend $1 billion? You can run a campaign and not be go over $1 billion.
The orange blood is oozing out of your pores right now.
How's that orange blood? That's common sense. I could have run a campaign better than that.
And what did Trump do? How much money did he raise, and how well did he maintain?
$1 billion. My whole point is that
no, sir. You got all of these numbers. Tell us the numbers about how much money Trump raised and how well did he manage it? Did he get it right down to $15? Did he go over $2,000? Tell us the whole facts.
I get you trying to be sarcastic right now, right?
No, I'm really not. I am, but I'm not. My point is, how do you know this damning information on one side, but you're not going to give us the comparing information on the other side? That would be an issue. That's a question I'd ask anybody.
Okay. Let me say it again. I am salty with the Democrats, so that may come off that way. But the thing is that on Trump's side, he did post a tweet, or whatever you want to call it, acknowledging that Kamala's in the hole, and he offered to help pay some of that down. Say we need to come together as a unit. So he offered to help pay on some of that on her debt to bring the parties together. So
show his penis. That's all he did. He ain't trying to do no party unity. He's like, here, bitch, here's my card. Pay your fucking debt.
Yeah, basically.
Trying to do no party unity. He was like, here, my money's good. Piece of shit. He's so pompous.
And that's just, I mean, that don't. If you're running campaign circles in about 15 different places, yeah, you could go over budget. That's
over
not a hard thing to do. Yeah, if you're running different campaign rallies in 10 or 15 different places, yes, that's easy to do.
Jet fuel costs like $75K, like one way, I think, and that was what I heard like years ago.
Who?
And she's gonna have to take that private jet because she's got to go from here to here and be there probably in less than 24 hours.
But it ain't just her. She got Obama somewhere. She got Hillary Clinton somewhere. You got all of these different people. You got to pay for these Beyonce and Taylor Swift appearances, and then their entourage, and then the other things, and then the venue also needed this lighting, and you're doing that in all these different places in a quick amount of time. That's easy to do.
I'm glad
you're trying to throw $20 million like it's because $20 million is something to us.
I'm glad
in the frame of a whole campaign, $20 million is not a lot. That's not a lot.
I'm glad you brought that up with the Beyonce and the other celebrities and all, because the thing is that if she had actually had a solid policy and a solid plan, she wouldn't need those celebrities to come up to say to get Magic Johnson or Eminem or whoever to tell them to vote, tell common people that they can't relate to vote. She wouldn't have to pay them all that money. That money could have gone someplace else.
Well,
policies are not.
Where else the money gonna go on the campaign, Toby? What else should they use their campaign money for other than getting celebrity endorsements?
A good television ad, a good
celebrity ad. We had forever.
People don't even watch TV no more.
That's what I'm saying. Let me get it out. I said commercials, social media ads on social media, going on podcasts. She declined to go on Joe Rogan, and instead go to.
Well, he supports Trump.
Declined.
No. She declined. She declined to go on Joe Rogan. She wanted Joe Rogan.
She didn't. I watched Joe Rogan talk about it. She didn't decline. She did. She postponed. She kind of put it off for a while and didn't give an answer. And then when she finally did, it needed to be on her terms because he is the vice president of the United States.
That's what I'm saying.
So, and he wanted it on his terms. And he had and he didn't want to cancel on the guests that he had come in from England. I've watched him say this.
Yeah.
I actually watched his in full.
That's what I'm getting at. Was that he gave her
sound like that's what you was getting at.
She's just trying to finish my statement. That's cool. But what I'm saying is that the invite was there for her to come on. So she had the same chance to go on stage and present her ideas. The reason why she didn't go on because she can't talk for over 30 minutes without somebody pulling out. Because her most challenging interview was
she went on Fox News for an hour.
He finished my sentence. Her most challenging interview was on Fox, which they got her up out of there within 20 minutes because she can't handle a tough conversation with follow-up questions.
I'm sorry, how many times, when did Trump go on MSNBC?
Let me say, he did go on MSNBC. And let me tell you why. The reason why.
I don't think he yourself,
and also the reason why he didn't go on CBS 60 Minutes is because why would I use legacy media? Why would I use legacy media if I could use the new media, which actually won him the election, and go on podcasts and actually have people ask me questions? Because Joe Rogan is from the left. He didn't really support Trump like that. He had to find out for himself. So why not go to the new media that's going to be more honest rather than going to the legacy media like CBS?
I'm sorry, new media more honest as give me an example of new media that's more honest.
Social media, period.
You think social media is more honest?
When I say that, it's not gripped by the corporate back. It doesn't have a corporate backing. That's what I'm saying. As much. Because ABC, CBS, all of them, they are basically bought and paid for. Am I lying or not? Am I lying on that or not?
They all pay for.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that CBS on the interview with Kamala Harris, they actually slice and dice her answer when the guy asked her a question about Israel, and he asked in the unedited answer, she gave this long gibberish answer, and then the edited version, she gave it was a short, concise answer. So why would Trump, just thinking, go on that if you already know that they're your enemy? That doesn't make sense.
I got a few things. I got a few
jump
things.
in. The argument you just made for against that is the same argument that you tried to make.
Exactly. I can't believe I'm about to. I can't believe I'm about to. I can't believe I'm about to defend Kamala, but I am. So first of all, it doesn't benefit her to go on Joe Rogan. Not like her. So Joe Rogan has a history of people thinking he's racist, whether he is or not.
Right.
So going on Joe Rogan doesn't necessarily benefit her, which is why she went on the equivalent, which is Shannon Sharp, like the black equivalent, which was Shannon Sharp.
It's not even close. But yeah,
but you understand what I'm saying? Air quotes. So so that's why she went on that show thinking that it would help. The thing is, the people who ran her campaign, I think the people who run any woman's campaign always run a woman's campaign and not allow her to fully be herself, which is why people always feel like when a woman is running, like Hillary and all this, it just feels forced. It always feels forced. Like she has to say, Hillary got to say she has hot sauce in her bag. Kamala got to be running around giving her greens recipe out. On that. She lost me there. She never had me, but. So what I'm saying is the campaign managers, a lot of times for women, they don't know how to even present women in a way, because oftentimes when a woman is just strong, it comes off like she's a bitch. So it's either you're going to ride with just coming off like a bitch or not. Like, I don't know what it is, but people just, they haven't done it correctly yet that I have seen, where a woman who was running in some sort of political office was likable. And you might just have to accept that she wouldn't be likable. I'm not really sure, but the campaign was trash.
But it's hard to be likable when you can't be a human being, because they don't get to be human in the same way. Can you imagine Kamala sitting up there? Oh yeah, locker room. I just grab him by the dick, and campaign over. You're done.
Putin present.
Here's the thing.
The stuff he gets to say, nobody else gets the own.
People want to make sure
the caucasity is at an all-time high with him.
The people want to make sure that she can run the country. They know that people are real and talk different than they are in front of camera. So that's not really something that's news breaking. We know you're going to talk different when you're with your friends and just shooting the shit and everything. That when you
all kind of profanity come out your mouth.
But there's a difference between just like black people have to code switch when they go to work, white people code switch at work too. However, when they have a lapse in code switch and they're being a little bit closer to themselves, other white people can still relate to that more than whenever I come about my code switch. So there are levels to how race and culture play a part in how people perceive you. So that is an aspect of it, and some of it is not racism. Some of it is like cultural things. Some of it is just what is familiar to you and what is not. Because at the end of the day, like let's be real. Like if there's a black person running and a white person running, like I'm going to be more inclined to try to see what's up with the black person first. It's just like the Olympics. Like I wanted the black team to win. If America ain't winning, I want it to be Jamaica. That's just what it is. You resonate with people who look like you. Sometimes
Obama got called a Muslim and a terrorist because he and Michelle fist bumped.
Hold on, what?
Obama got called a Muslim and a terrorist because he and Michelle did a fist bump.
Yeah.
Right. So they thought it was like a bomb or something for real. Like it's just the cultural things that just people don't understand. I'm assuming. That's what that was.
Yeah.
When people don't understand something, they attach because they don't understand it. They get scared of it, so they assume the worst. This is a real thing.
The thing is that if I believe if Kamala Harris was more honest and more authentic, and not so phony, she would have done a lot better. Like I never met a black person that make collard greens. So they make their collard greens in the bathtub.
She's just going all out with it.
No, she was trying to.
Hey, Toby, quite a few folks are joking about that.
No, I think she was trying to tap into like an older generation. You hear older generation people when they make big batches of stuff, they'll soak it in a tub or something first.
But don't nobody believe her. Stop
don't
doing
nobody.
Yeah, we don't believe it, but she was
Nah,
trying to
you
tap
soak it
into
in the sink. You use both sides of the sink if you want to soak it for a big party.
Somebody of our lineage would know that. That's what it just.
Toby, without interruption, let me come back to you real quick, Toby.
You soak the greens on both sides of the sink.
Respond to this, Toby. I did talk about generals who are saying that people should not vote for Trump. How do you feel? Do you think there's any validity to that? If you have 5-star generals saying that this man is dangerous and he shouldn't be, he does not belong in office in that type of position.
Yeah, what they said should be respected because they're generals and all. But the fact of the matter is all those people that are saying that been fired, so they have a reason to say that. So that makes sense. If they have bad blood or they don't actually care for that person, that makes total sense for them to say that.
These ain't the first generals that's ever been fired. There's been many generals fired and dismissed and relieved of duty over time, and they never came out and spoke.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was.
So
they're discredited because they are actually people who are fired.
They're upset. They don't see eye to eye. Because Trump is known for firing people with a quickness. So I get it.
What, Q?
I know you're trying to trip me up or something. That's what it is. It is what it is.
That's a valid question. That's a valid question.
I'm glad Toby came on.
I know, me too.
Me too. I am.
We needed a variety. Like Toby, I agree with you on some of them things. Some of it's extra sauce, but some of it
Jesus, Kanye West, and Donald Trump.
I fall into the yay category.
I'm pissed at the Democrats. I'll be honest with that.
For sure.
My ex called me a Kanye apologist.
They just lied to me. They lied to me my whole life. I know. They lied to me. I worked for them. I've gone to multiple rallies, talked to countless people. Yeah, I'm pissed.
Well, okay, so this isn't brand new to you. You know, this conversation has been presented to you this 4 cycles or this 4 years. The last 4 years, this was presented to you. The 4 years before that was presented to you. So, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be mad, you eventually have to get mad with self, right? Like
I'm mad. I'm just mad. Period. Mad at myself. Mad at the Democrats. Yeah.
Something with that, right?
I question how you get.
Because what ends up happening is you take that, right, and whether you know this or not, you're going to project this onto people that don't have nothing to do with that, right? And that's not going to help. Whatever the solution we've got to figure out to get wherever it is that we want to be, like, that's not going to get us there. So be mad. We've been fucking lied to. We all acknowledge this. They've indoctrinated us from day one. It's just whether or not we're going to continue to subscribe to the system willingly or if we're not.
Unplug from the matrix.
And if you are, then you got to stop being mad. You willingly are subscribing to the system. If you are ready to unsubscribe and cancel your subscription, let that anger turn it into something else and let's fucking go. Let's go. But making excuses.
Let me respond to other stuff. I want to get Toby to respond.
They get ready to put boots to the ground, boy.
Okay. But let me ask this though, because what the Democrats are doing is nothing new. So I question and just respond to it if there's gender bias involved, because this ain't no different from what that old white man in office did. These are the same tactics that he did, same tactics that Obama did, even though Obama sounded better and more presidential. But the Democrats have been using the same playbook. So why did this open your eyes now? I question if there's gender bias involved, but what do you say?
I'm glad you asked that question so I can dispel that right now. I voted for Hillary Clinton, so that eliminates the gender bias. So I'm willing to vote for a white woman then that should just eliminate that thought altogether. So what made me wake up, whatever you want to call it, is basically when Obama left office. When he left office, and I just reflect and just look back on everything, and just looking at how things were before he came in and when he left, and how the gay community has progressed so far, and Black people have pretty much regressed. How the dreamers, the legal immigrants, migrants, whatever you want to call it, how much progress they made, and also the Asian community, them getting the anti-criminal crime bill. Yep. And we've been
they won
for over 400 some years, and we don't have that. They have some specific. Now, Roland Martin made a comment where he always said that we have anti-hate bill in the civil rights. That's for everybody. We don't have anything. The difference is they have something specifically for them in writing for them. That's what we need. That's what we don't have. And when I just realized that, I just got turned off from that altogether.
That makes sense.
I get now. The only thing I do have against Black people, I know this is gonna sound real bad. If we make up foundational Black Americans, we make up 12 to 15% of the entire U.S. population.
I think that's a little underreported.
I think it's an absolute lie because data does that. But go ahead.
How much of our agenda should be considered? I think some of it should, but it's not like we make up half of the population. Like everything, we can't expect everything to be a Black-based agenda. Should we expect some things? Yes. But if we make up 15% of the population, then like you got to think about that. That's just, so if there's something that is inclusive of all, like, okay, so for instance, let's go back to this. With the affordable health care, who are the people who suffer the most from lack of health care?
Us.
So we can't act like it's not like, oh, he ain't do nothing for Black. Yeah, that if all he did was look out for the rich white people, then we'd be like, he ain't do nothing for us. Like it can't be like, hey, I'm doing a solid for my people. Like you just want him to come out and say, I got y'all. Like, just pay attention and read between the lines a little bit. That's all. A little bit.
That's the fact. That's the fact. I gotta jump on that because it has been some kind of propaganda against Obama for a while, and I kind of fell victim to it too. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of Black people are the main people who didn't have health care. Like, let's be real here. So the fact that he can't come out and say, I'm doing it, like Q said, he can't come out and say, I'm doing the healthcare thing for y'all. Like you can't, right. They wouldn't send it through. They wouldn't push it through. So, I mean, yeah, that is.
And even to take it a step further, like a lot of us don't like, so I'm doing life insurance right now, and I do life insurance for businesses. There's certain qualifications that we have for my specific company. You got to have a certain amount of employees. You got to be W-2'd. You got to be in just to qualify for life and other supplemental benefits. You got to have these criterias. What kills me and upsets me the most is even as business owners, most of my own people don't even qualify under those basic standards. You got a lot of barbers, people own hair salons, 1099 workers who are more commission based, and they don't even qualify for the same standards of this stuff. So those are often the people who don't get insured or don't qualify for insurance. So when they're putting something out there, it's
because we got to pay for it out of pocket. That's why.
Right. So yeah, so the Affordable Care Act, again, that's something, just because it's not something specifically for Black people, you can tell it's clearly geared toward people like us who need those benefits. Now, what I say to you, Toby, is the only other thing, y'all got me on here longer than I planned on being here.
I know.
You knew this was going to happen. You did it on purpose.
Never.
But what I say to you, Toby, the part I do understand is, if y'all heard me say many times, I equate the political parties to religion. In the same way people ride hard on religion is the same way they ride up with political parties. I see people act exactly the same when they going for their political party as they do their faith and their religion. And people don't see it, but I see it clearly. So if you were a person who drunk all of that Democratic Kool-Aid and you were all the way in on it, I could see how you would be out so sorely. Most of the people who have the hardest adverse reaction to religion are people who were in it heavy at one point in time and got burned by it. And those are the people who really push back the hardest on it, the people who are actually in it. So that's the part that I want to give credibility to you for, even though I loved being that ballot behind that ballot curtain with you, because I still question.
You really think I'm lying to you?
I do. But that's all right.
at least he's being honest, man. That's all you can ask for. Holding no punches.
Y'all crazy.
No, I'll just say this right here. I
voted for Trump. You got me.
I love Barack Obama. That was a time that I loved Barack Obama. Everything, him and his wife and his kids, they was a standard. And like I said, when they got out of office, and I couldn't really point or look at what he did for Black people, that was really disappointing. Now you say something, you bring up the Affordable Care Act, that was for everybody. I'm talking about specifically for us. And the thing is that you don't have to say, "Hey, dog, I got you." I'm being serious. You can do something specifically for people, just like Kamala Harris did in 2023. She allocated, I think it was $46 billion to the AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islander business contracts. For her people,
$6
billion for her people.
Damn.
And also what Kamala Harris did, the Freeman Bank in Washington that was set for slavery, that was reallocated to everybody. That was for just for Black people. Now it's for everybody.
Right.
Yep.
So I have a valid reason to be upset. The Democrats with just those 2 points alone. That's something directly done for the Asian people, as I said. And they were able to take a part of the Affordable Care Act.
But this is my problem, Toby.
I got some shekels to throw in the pot, man.
Because obviously you pay attention even more so than I do when it comes to politics, and you learned up and you read on a lot of stuff. But you got that real Candace Owens sound on you where
tell me where I lie.
I'm not saying you lied. I'm saying how do you know this much information on that
because
side?
I stay up. I read up on it.
What are you reading up on the other side though? Because don't act like you can't act like the Republicans ain't without no fault.
I'm not bigging up the Republicans. I'm talking about what's going on.
I know you're not big up in them, but you're not I'm talking about not pointing out their flaws.
I'm not pom-pom poo-pooing the Republicans. I'm basically telling facts of what's going on, period.
But you telling it about the Democrats though. You still one-sided. I'm saying somebody who is that read up on this as you are. I'm confused on how one-sided you are about this.
The Republicans aren't in office.
But so my thing is,
what you say? I'm saying historically. I'm talking about the party. So, for instance, I'm not a
Republican. If that's what you're trying to get at, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Republican at all.
You're not either, right?
I'm not either. I'm independent.
So exactly, if you're not either, then you would have a more balanced view. So let me give you something about the reason that I'll never vote Republicans is because of their voter suppression tactics that they use. I can't rock with that. See, I can talk about the things that how the Democrats be screwing up stuff, and I can also talk about some of the stuff that the Republicans do also. I'm just saying I'm looking for the balance in it. And when I don't hear the balance, then my agenda antennas come up.
Well, just point out the lie I'm saying. That's all.
I'm not saying a lie. I'm pointing out the imbalance. That's what I'm pointing out.
And what I'm saying to you is that the Republicans are not in office. And also, I've never voted for a Republican at all in life. I've always thought that the Republicans were didn't care about people and all that stuff.
What you do behind closed doors, nobody ever know. But what you say out in the open, then that's something that people can grab hold to. I'm just saying your balance. I'm not hearing your balance. So when I'm saying, hey, give me some stuff, when you can run down these facts about what the Democrats are not doing, also run down some facts about what the Republicans are not doing, since you are independent.
Let me put it to you like this. If, just like with this past election, if black men in particular are black people, but black men in particular are demonized for even considering voting Republicans, and this has been going on for the past 60 years, why, if you're heading up the Republican Party, why would you do any outreach to black people if you already know that about 85 to 90% of the votes going to go to the Democrats? That wouldn't be a
That's
smart.
Not true, because that's their agenda. Because the same way that they reached out to those coal miners and the people in Nebraska and South Dakota, just like they reached out to them, they could also reach out to black people as well.
I understand, but they're white. What I'm saying too, historically,
but they are voters. So you choose to or you choose not to.
85 to 90% of black people vote for Democrats, and as I said, just like you doing to me right now, even the mere thought of voting for Republican, which I didn't, is you Trump supporter.
No,
if I was, I would say it probably if I did.
That's why I think I want you to just come out and say it. I think that's maybe I'm trying to just get you to come out and say it. That might be it.
Come on, say what I already said. I voted Cornel West. That's what it is. So my point is,
I'm listening to you have real agenda-based speech right now. That's all I'm saying.
What I'm saying is that it wouldn't make sense if I was a Republican campaign manager. It wouldn't make sense to.
You're not a Republican campaign manager. You told me. I'm saying, give me both sides of it.
You're talking about what you're talking about as far as if I'm being biased towards Republicans. I'm saying to you that if black people, even with this election, if we're demonized for even considering voting for Republicans, why would a Republican even try to reach out to black people? But if we can talk to each other,
you free thinkers, we ain't going one way or another. Most of the people on here don't rock with either side. So saying that you support a Republican, ain't nobody gonna look at you crazy up here. I just don't hear you doing it.
I'm not talking about here. I'm not talking about here. I'm talking about in general.
I'm talking about right here.
Public. Outside. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm talking about you directly being very informed and learned about all of these different issues and stuff I ain't never heard of.
Mm-hmm. Well, look it up.
But you speaking about it on one side though. And it leads me to believe that you have agenda behind what you're saying, because you're talking about all of the shortcomings on one side, but you're not speaking about the shortcomings on the other side.
Burn. That's what I.
You want what to crash and burn? God dang it! I'm freezing up. Maybe.
Yeah.
No, you're freezing up.
Okay.
No, you straight.
It might be tough. So the difference is, if you want the Democrat, I'm saying I want both of them to crash and burn. In all honesty, maybe that's the difference. And if you only want one to crash and burn, then that means that you have favoritism toward the other side.
The reason why I say I want the Democrats to crash and burn, because they the one that's been invited to the cookout. They the one that's been to my church. They the one that I grown up with, and they the one that gave me the benign neglect for the majority of my life.
So you got biased then.
You got to be mad at a whole lot of other people besides a group of people called Democrats. There's a whole lot of people that did that to you than just them folks. So you got a lot of bones to pick with a lot of people. But at the end of the day, you realize what the problem
didn't bother you.
I was a kid. I wasn't worried about no.
And there's still people in jail to this day from those policies.
From Joe Biden, 94 crime bill.
Yeah.
Toby, goodness gracious. Yes, Joe Biden, and even before that, Ronald Reagan, and even before that, Richard Nixon. How you can't point to one and not point to all of them? You're showing your bias. That's what I'm saying. All you gonna do is point to Biden. I said F Biden, F Reagan, F Nixon, all, and even Clinton too.
Yeah.
So you're showing your bias. I don't know if you see that or not, because all of them was in on it.
I know I'm showing it.
The first Bush too.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I don't know if you see it or not, because the only thing you pointed to was Biden.
Did I not just say that I want the Democrats to crash?
But how can you not acknowledge
all of them crash?
How would you? And not only this, you talked about you was too young for that. The crime bill that Biden pushed through, that was 92, 94?
That was 94.
Reagan was 87, 88?
Yeah.
It wasn't that far apart from each other. They all connected together.
Yeah, Reagan was messed up too. I'm not giving.
But you didn't see the excuse you gave. Oh, I was too young for that. Stop it.
I look into history.
So don't act like you was too young. You are. You do look into history. And you the same. You around the same age as me. I was young too, but I looked up and did my history.
So what are you trying to get Toby to admit, that he's biased or that he voted for Trump?
That he biased. Now, I don't care about the Trump part, but just say you biased though.
No, I don't like the Democrats.
Because what happens is when you start spitting these facts like you just saying it objectively, like all I can do is give you the truth.
I don't like.
If you're only giving a partial truth, then I can't call that the full truth, because then that's leading. Yeah. You're saying things in a way that you want me to hate one group.
No, I'm telling you,
and not pay attention to the other group. I've given you plenty of opportunities to talk bad about the other side too, and you ain't taking none of that bait.
Got no reason. They're not in power.
You do got a reason.
And yes, they
what you
are.
Mean they not in power? Both of them in power.
They about to be. What you talking about? They won this whole motherfucker, apparently.
This is the Biden-Harris administration. This Democrats are running it right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's about to be over. That's
I can't make up shit.
The new cabinet is already chosen.
See, that's why I don't mess up. And I mean, thank you, Toby, for being on. But that's what I'm saying. I can only go so far with people who deep in pop because it's religion all over. You can only they gonna have rose-colored glasses with the things that they like and the things that they dislike. Then they're gonna point that out. But you ain't gonna be able to get them to say nothing bad about the other side. That's why I say that's my issue. I am a believing, participating church member. And I will admit, see, I can go on both sides. Yeah, these hardcore church people, you can't get them to acknowledge basic truths. I can acknowledge that, yeah, it's a lot of pastors out there screwing over with money, messing around with women, doing bad, with their congregation, and they not handling their business properly. There's a lot of Catholic priests out there messing with little boys and they need to be exposed. I can say those things even as a participant. Mm-hmm. And I can also say they feeding the homeless, they doing shelters, they doing a lot of good things. I can talk good and I can talk bad. That's being balanced.
Let me tell you this right here. The difference between the Democrats and the Republicans, they're both the same. They both can be crappy. Here's the difference. The Republicans are openly racist. They can be shown as openly racist. The Democrats are covertly racist. One of the Democrats are the one that'll put their hand around your back, put their hand and pat you on the back, and slide a knife in your back, while the Republicans is calling you the N-word and everything, and the guy that's holding you, he's right there sliding a knife in your back. Say, hey, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be, hey, we're gonna get that guy. He's so racist. So the question you got to ask yourself: which person you want to deal with?
Neither.
The person that's that you can see, or the person that's gonna put his hand around your back and put a knife in your back and smile in your face.
Neither one of them, because y'all both trying to stab me.
Neither one of them class.
So I'm just saying that those the choices that we have.
Not really. That's why me and Nikki didn't vote.
That part.
Add me into that mix, please. Thank you.
You cannot.
Don't forget about me now. Watch out now.
I think
you should vote for your local election. Stuff that's local.
I'm gonna sit in my truth, y'all. You know what I didn't say last time? I'm too lazy to look up what these locals do.
Man, it's a whole lot of goddamn work.
That's a lot of homework. At least with the main people, their shit is very clear and obvious. I'm too lazy to look up what the locals is doing.
That's why people like you. That's why I said. That's why they give you the 2-party system. Since you ain't gonna do no research and look it up. Here, this party go with these set of statues, and this party go with this one. Which one you want, A or B? We gonna simplify for you since you ain't gonna do no research.
They simplified it so much so that I went with neither.
That part.
Yeah, can I go in real quick before my battery goes out?
I'm with you. I'm with you, Denise.
Toby has said something that sparked a thought in my mind that I've been thinking about for a minute. And it goes like this: when a particular
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
You went out for a second.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my phone, my Bluetooth about to die. I'm trying to be quick. But when a particular group of people have an agenda for those that look like them or whatever, they have an agenda just for them or that particular group of people. But when Black people have an agenda, foundational, whatever you want to describe the terminology of that, it's not just for them. It got to be for everybody. I find that amazingly ironic to where when we invent something or trailblaze something, it has to be shared with everybody and not just the particular group of people that it was created for. I just find that amazingly ironic when you have these other demographic group of people when it's just specifically for them and that's it, not sharing, whatever the case may be. And I'm pretty sure you guys may have some pushback on that, but I just find that ironic. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, you have to.
I mean,
you have to, because say we the Black delegation, we all decided to start our own party together, and if everyone decided to participate into it, say all of the Democrats went over to this Black party, who are we getting elected in office or in the Senate or in the House with 15? Say it's even low. Say with 20%. Who are we getting put in office? Nobody.
Oh, here's the thing. We should basically have be more strategic with our vote, not necessarily having any particular person.
That comes with homework.
Black person elected, but the person that's elected should already know what the Black agenda is. So if we were on the same accord,
Black agenda.
If we was on the same, we're on the same accord and say, hey, if you want our vote, I have 40 million votes. I have 30 million votes that'll go to you if you do X, Y, and Z. That's power rather than having everybody vote sporadically.
It's not realistic.
And it's dissipated.
I agree.
It's not realistic. No, don't agree with that, Denise. It's not realistic.
I agree. I was saying that when we had the voting conversation.
It's true.
That we should have a Black delegate that speaks for Black people.
You shouldn't. You should not. You can't. You can. One person cannot speak for Black people. Within Black people, there are different genders. There are different agendas. There are different classes.
You want to know why?
Yes, but it ain't got to be all for one class and all for another class. But there should be like, all right, middle class, what y'all really need? All right, bet. Okay, upper middle class, what y'all need? Okay, lower class, what do y'all need? It should be, and then from that, we take our packet and we say, this is what we need. Y'all need to get this going. If you do, then you get the votes. What is so absurd about that?
What about that?
Because you act like we are only Black. That's the part that don't make sense. I am Black.
I just broke it down into class.
But I'm saying that you can be Black. You could be a man. You could be a woman. You can be upper class. You can be a business owner. You can be a Christian. You could be a Muslim. You could be an atheist. All of these things are going to look for different based agendas that will and can conflict with other agendas. You can't just say, "Oh, we all black, so now we all need economics." And the only way it minutely makes sense is just because of our historical oppression. If we didn't have the historical oppression in the same way, then even the issues that we have would not align with one another. Just like look at white people. They don't have this is our white agenda. No.
Use your argument against Jewish people and just use your argument against Jewish people and Asian people.
No, it's
as far as what you're saying. So what I'm saying is that they get things specifically done for them. Okay. Foundational Black Americans literally built this country. So there should be some type of relevance or some kind of importance to that. And what I'm saying is that if we cannot get on code, for one, we're not on code. And that's the reason.
I don't even agree with you, Toby.
There's a reason why
I don't agree with Tierra or Denise. Like, what's the code that we gonna get on? We don't agree with.
Tierra ain't even said that yet.
I already know.
Let me finish.
I already know. Like, what's this code that you're talking? Y'all be talking about stuff that don't really exist though. Like, what's the black code that we all need to get on?
It should exist.
No, it shouldn't.
Q.
Hey, listen. Let me give it.
Hold on, Toby, real quick. Q. When they had the Stop Asian Hate movement, and less than a year, that law was passed. How do you think that happened? You think they just saw Stop Asian Hate and that was all it was to it? Or do you think a person who was the head of whatever blah, blah, blah organization started making some calls and some things start happening to where they had to pass that bill? What do you think happened?
For one, a specific reason, a specific movement. The Asian culture did not say we're gonna come together and start our own Asian party and we're gonna make sure we in lock and step to get our day-to-day affairs.
You don't need your own party, but there should be an organization that represents you, which they do have. Just like the Jewish
community, you're saying within the two parties
represents them. Just like if you say something crazy about the Jewish community, guess what? You got to answer to this group over here. And you got to go sit down with somebody over here. And you got to have a conversation. Because if you don't, then they're going to go tap all their buddies. And then you may not have a job.
Power players.
Within the two parties
next day.
Somebody mute your stuff. Hold on a second. Tierra, how you doing, Tierra? Go on, tell us what's on your mind. What you thinking?
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Jump on and hear what you guys are discussing. I just want to know what was the basis of the question that led us here.
Oh man.
Q
I can't
Toby to admit that he voted for Trump, but Toby keeps saying he didn't, and then Q was like, "Well, you need to admit your bias." So we kind of been in the loop about bias and what pointing certain things out that what party is doing or not doing and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Toby, did you vote? Did you vote, Toby?
Yeah.
Okay, so they assume you vote one way. You're saying you didn't.
Well, he said he told us who he voted for, but oops.
He's just being funny.
I'm being funny, but I'm being serious too.
I'm at odds with the Democratic Party for many reasons, but I voted for Cornel West. When I was there, I was gonna put Mickey Mouse. I was gonna just go to put Mickey Mouse. Wait a minute, I can just put Cornel West. So I put Cornel West there, and no Democrat. Period.
Okay, so
okay. So let's go here. Okay, so you voted Cornel West, but when it came, did you vote for Ted Cruz? Who did you vote for? Cruz or Allred?
I know I'm being boy.
Ooh, wait, somebody.
So what?
Which side outside of the presidency? Which side did you vote down? And I know I'm asking intrusive personal information.
Yeah, he's basically trying to just make me the bad guy. I don't like
personal.
Yeah, I made that clear.
No, I'm really not.
Listen.
Okay. You don't have to answer if you don't
It's
want.
a judgment-free zone, Toby.
And also,
even though Q is not making it that way tonight.
I'm being clear.
It's free thinkers.
I didn't vote for any Democrats, period.
You didn't vote
for
Republicans. You voted Republican or independent. You did all independents all the way down.
He ain't vote all independent. Don't even try it. Don't even give him that out. He ain't vote all independent.
I voted for Republican too.
So my question is, like, me as a person, I have problems with both parties. I think the two-party system is not representative of what America collectively should be. But I wouldn't just target one party because both of them have their flaws. Right. So when we're making these different judgments about a group or representatives, let's count the flaws on each side here, because we know Republicans aren't perfect either. So are you equally criticizing where they lack as the same as you do Democrats?
Sierra, you sound like my doppelganger right now. You don't even know it. I just got done. I got done saying the exact same thing that you said.
Oh, really?
I mean exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it boils down to. If you're going to be really good at analyzing and really coming, to figure things out, we can't just sit and point one direction and not reflect on both sides. I mean, that's just good, healthy, sound facts by being able to see what both sides are talking about and see where they have problems.
Toby, let me ask you, did she basically say literally almost word for word the exact same thing I said to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so so you can admit she wasn't even listening to the conversation. So at least can you admit that I'm just not pulling this up out my ass out of nowhere? This is somebody making the same observation.
Yeah, I'm being honest. I'm pissed at the Democrats for a lot of reasons.
Okay, I'm
being honest.
So I don't even want to rehash that. Can you critically
talk about that point for point
out Republicans' issues?
Okay,
what do you have? Just curious.
Okay, the point. Okay, let's see. Sexualize the kids, gender confusion, men and women's locker room, bathroom, meaningless, endless foreign wars, open borders, illegal immigrants being prioritized.
That's Republicans?
No.
Huh?
Oh, I thought he can't do it.
Can you tell me what you have from Republicans?
Republican. I'm not voting on that.
No, I'm not. I know that. I just, as the sake of the conversation, I would like to hear what issues you may have with Republicans.
Let me get off camera.
The issue that I have with Republicans is that they haven't reached out to Black people.
Okay.
But I understand why they haven't, because even if a Black person even look at a Republican, they're demonized. So I understand why they haven't. That need to change. So they don't even cater to us at all. So I can't really say anything besides maybe some backward Republican city that's gentrified their voting blocks or something like that. But I can't really think of nothing
bad about them. Ain't nothing to say bad about them.
I'm saying because I'm talking about them being in office.
They don't even reach out for our vote. That's what he's saying. That's really shocking. Which is really shocking there, because it's like you're saying these group of people do not reach out to this community enough. It's kind of like what you're saying with the Democrats.
Because they know that they have our vote.
So the Republicans don't even care about our vote enough.
Yeah, because they already know that we're locked in step with the Democrats, and why try?
So dang, you would go with somebody that don't care about your vote?
How did I do that? I didn't vote for Donald Trump.
Or just the Republican Party. Just curious.
You voted for many people you voted on the Republican side, even if you didn't vote for Trump.
I mixed it up. I vote Green, I vote Libertarian, whatever, but it just want to be Democrats.
Okay. Denise, you were saying.
And you know what? Let's say I did vote all Republican. I should have the freedom. I should feel free.
There's no.
And a black person shouldn't be demonized for doing that.
You're absolutely right. I agree with that.
That's the problem. That's the problem. If a black man, a black person, whoever vote for a Republican, it's like they got to test their black card. Like they didn't like. Are you black? Did you watch Sanford and Son as a kid? Like, damn, I'm just black as you. Black people, we're saying we're not a monolith. Then let's actually prove that we're not a monolith, and because we're all gonna have different ideas, different thoughts. So that's the first thing we got to break out of that right there.
I agree with that, Denise.
Toby, this is where you lost me.
Okay.
So what I'm hearing is you are mad at the Democrats, which is why you're not voting for them because they do nothing for us. But you're saying the Republicans also don't do anything for us, but it's justified because typically we vote Democrat. Like my question is, why are you upset with the Democrats, but for the same reason you're not upset with the Republicans?
Okay, I feel like I'm on trial, but okay.
No.
The reason is.
Hold on, Toby. You know I've been siding with you on some of this shit.
Yeah.
Don't try to act like you're on trial.
I'll answer your question.
I got questions, buddy.
It's
just
cool.
makes sense.
It's cool. I'll answer the question. I'm not particularly mad at
hot seat, brother.
I'm not particularly mad at the Republicans because they are who we thought they are. The Democrats, we thought they were a friend. We thought they were with us, and they're not. And the thing is that I grew up not liking Republicans. I grew up not trusting Republicans. I grew up trusting the Democrats. I grew up putting my trust in Democrats. And once the curtain was dropped and I saw that's all a lie, yes, I'm going to be a little bit more PO'd to the Democrats than the Republicans because y'all a party that's been in my house. Y'all a party that I grew up with. So yes, I may sound a little biased because I am. I'm not sugarcoating that. I'm not hiding anything. That's what it is. And the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that there's a delineation movement going on right now. There's a reason why Kamala Harris lost this election. That reparation bill that was in California that they just bypassed and just thought it was a joke, thought it was a game. That lost her, and that's going to lose Gavin Newsom his bid in 2028. Because I'm not going to forget that, and a lot of folks not going to forget that. It's about 15.
That ain't lose her no election.
There's 15 to 20 million people that didn't vote because of that, but not because that's one of the reasons that they didn't. Those two bills that did get put on the floor, the SB 1403 and the SB 1331. The one.
Are you saying that's a California bill?
Yeah, in California. Right,
that California issue is not going to affect her getting into the White House.
Let me finish.
She still got all the electoral votes for California.
That affect nationally though, because people know about that nationally. So what I'm saying is that those two bills, one to set up the account and one to put money in the account, was never brought onto the floor, and it took a Republican to say, let's bring this onto a vote, and the Democrat blocked it from going to the floor for a vote. So they didn't want to vote on it because they could have had the votes to move it forward. So they just kicked the can down the road. They're just basically just playing in our face. So reasons like that is why I'm upset. That's just one. I could be all day with it, but that's one that me and millions of other Black people are upset with the Democrats.
Well, with Toby, with that explanation, that's much. You saying a Democrat was trying to bring something to, or a Republican was trying to at least bring it to the floor so that it can be voted on.
Yeah,
It's much different from oh yeah, I know they mess over us too, and they don't even check for us at all. That's a very different thing. So when you're pointing to the things that the Republicans have done that have been beneficial to us, and that's why you lean towards them, it's very different from like what we were talking about earlier, which is they ain't checking for us at all, and they don't do anything for us at all. So you know what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
But I'm not leaning toward the Republicans. I'm
well, you said you didn't vote for any Democrats, so that leaves you to more than likely if the Republican was an option and you're saying you're not going to not vote for them.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. I don't care who you vote for at the end of the day. My only thing is just make sure that someone who may at one point in time been viewed as an enemy is not using your distrust or disdain for another group against you without actually giving you something in return. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because then you're doing the same thing that the Democrats been trying to pull on you all this time, trying to get you.
I totally understand and agree with what you're saying. That's the reason why I didn't vote for Trump. Because the thing is that unless something tangible is provided, I can't vote for you.
Right.
And the thing is that's tangible that's Trump can provide that Kamala Harris couldn't is border security and also better economics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and also a better international relationship. So that's tangible that I can get from Trump that I can't get from Kamala Harris.
Mm.
Okay. Well,
I feel like this was a good conversation. This was fun.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed this. And Toby, I sure appreciate you being on because you actually made the conversation.
Shout out to you, Toby. You know how many people won't say the things that you're saying?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing I hate. There's a lot of Black people that feel exactly how I feel, but they don't want to say it because they know they got a high chance of being ostracized.
Well, what I'll say is this go around, it was a lot more open Trump and Republican supporters than I've ever seen.
Oh, for sure.
Like, and they weren't just behind the scenes; they were more open and vocal about it. And that's one of the things I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely had a feeling he was gonna win because just what I saw nationally in my personal circles and what the Democrats failed to do on their side, I was like, yeah,
there's a lot more.
I had a strong feeling.
There's a lot more.
Really quick. Can y'all hear me? Is my mic on?
Yes.
One of the things I find surprisingly ironic as well is how someone with no previous political background experience whatsoever is able to be elected twice as president. That lets me know that anything can happen. So in regards to the two women that ran for president, but wasn't not able to get it per se, I believe that will come into fruition soon if we witness something of this magnitude as far as somebody that doesn't have no type of political experience whatsoever, however, was elected to the highest position in the country. That's crazy to me.
Well,
that's a good question. Let me ask this. Everybody, what do you think is going to be the timetable now for the next woman to be elected president? Because right now it's 0 for 2. And at a certain point, it's like, we don't know if we want to put a woman as the forefront because they lost the last 2 times. And, it's like, I don't know. Do you think that's going to have an effect, or do you think it's on its way, or do you think it's going to be much later down the road?
Yes, I think it's the next election. I think they're going to put up Nikki Haley against whoever they bring on the Democratic side, which I would. If Nikki gets up there, I would think they would push for Kamala again.
Oh, wait, I thought Kamala gonna run again? I think Kamala done.
I don't know.
Kamala's done, and I thought Nikki Haley was cooked too.
Yeah, Nikki Haley is not a strong candidate at all.
Because they were trying to put her up just now, and I
but
think
she doesn't have to go up against Trump. You got to understand that it's a different dynamic when you don't have that Trump Who's going to come behind Trump?
Another Trump-like person, because they want to keep the support of Trump.
That's about the same.
JD Vance is very sharp.
Well, she's a woman though.
Nikki Haley said some wild shit. That's all I remember. I remember her saying,
but she's a woman. People like they're crazy as white men.
JD Vance
said some wild shit, and that's gonna come back to bite her in the ass. I can't remember exactly.
I'm just saying, the people who support Trump, you need another crazy white man. They don't accept crazy from all genders and races.
Right. I think that if a woman wins, it can't be because she's a woman.
Yeah.
That can't be the thing that they're trying to sell us on, is womanness. Like, her whole thing, like Kamala's whole thing was women's rights, women's rights, women's rights. If women's rights could like win you an election, you wouldn't even need men at all. But that was her primary thing that she ran on. Like, it can't be about the others, like, I'm with her. It was like based in her gender. Even that slogan was based in her gender. Like, that was the focus. The focus can't be, we want a woman in. I feel like a lot of women voted.
I think Elizabeth Warren was the best candidate we've had thus far, and she didn't get.
It seemed like most people who, I'm not gonna say most people, but a lot of women, I think, that voted for her, for both Hillary and Kamala, were just because they wanted to see a woman president. That's not enough.
Right.
I don't want to see a woman president enough to just vote because she's a woman. Sorry.
But the other thing is too, you gotta realize it ain't just about how good she is. She got to come at the right time also. Even Obama, as polished as he was, and he said all the right stuff, it took Bush doing such a terrible job that people were looking for something different. So a woman president is still going to have to come on the heels of somebody doing an awful job to say, I'm open for any type of change, because what we doing right now ain't working. You say what? Right.
Black dude.
If Bush hadn't did that bad of a job, Obama would not have been elected.
That's why I'm saying after Trump, you have to think about what the. I mean, we're convicting.
Trump ain't gonna do a bad job though.
We think.
Well, they had. Oh, sorry.
I'm saying in the hearts and minds of people. Remember, Jesus Christ, Kanye, and Donald Trump. It don't matter what happened. We can all be living homeless on the street, and all of his supporters and the people around him gonna say, "Oh, it ain't that bad." Like. The spin is so strong on Trump.
But he lost the last election, not this past one, but he did lose it to Biden. So there is, like I said, and the fact that he's not running again, he's a little bit more free range. So some of his things is going to be very, very outlandish.
Well, I'm talking about a woman being elected.
After
so
him.
if they don't show, like, even to this point, out of all the stuff history shows that Reagan did some terrible stuff, he's still thought of as one of the greatest Republican presidents.
Yeah, oddly
so. It's just like it's spin, and he knew how to say stuff. He had an actor.
He's definitely an actor.
He sounded presidential. He had the nice little sound bites, and Mr. Gorbachev tear down that wall, and they was already tearing the wall. Like it's spin. So if Trump know how to do that, what I'm saying is it's not going to, even if it is bad, it's not going to appear as bad for people to rally for change. And the other thing, Tiara, if the Democrats don't do something about this LGBTQ agenda and all this far-fetched stuff that they're doing, and they don't learn how to reel it back in, they're going to continue to lose ground. They got to fix that too.
I think their message is, they're laser focused on topics of different segments instead of just as a whole, like how you can help people as a whole. You're focused on specifically women, like you were saying, Denise, or LGBTQ women, or communities and stuff. And so you need to be talking to everyone, not just one. That's why Black men in general was telling her, and then she had to come up with the Black male agenda thing. They were telling, you're not talking to me.
And she still wasn't talking to him.
You know?
But I think people are okay with, especially people who lean Democratic, they're okay with equal rights. But if you ask a lot of people, like y'all have moved over into special rights.
Yeah. I don't think some things you just shouldn't be having to be stated. Just say you want everyone to be treated equally. You don't have to necessarily say, hey, I want this LGBTQX community treated like everyone. And
but
that way
it's more so really the trans, because now see, trans hits home differently because now you're talking about our children. Yeah. And you're talking about the people who are going to school with our children. And you're talking about trying to give our children ability to have sex changes and boys competing in girl sports. People, you are losing people. If you don't fix that, you're losing a lot of people.
Yeah. I think, like I said, you should say equally should make sense. Like we shouldn't have to like do all these extra things for why. You know what I mean? Like
you got to push back on agendas. Agendas will push. They will keep on pushing and pushing, and then you look up. You like, how did we get this far over here?
I mean, the sad
and Republicans do the same thing.
Never help black
Republicans want to push it. If you allow some of these people in the Republican Party, they'll have us back in slavery. They'll take away all of our voting rights, and they'll have us literally back. If you just allow their agenda to go as far as they want it to go.
And that's where Republicans are smart with. They're smart with their messaging, and they're smart with their pen. They make sure their districts are safe. They have been working since the 90s to make sure that it's manipulated, to their favor when it comes to Congress in particular, that end up writing these laws,
right,
and the local governments. So I think they have a better game plan than Democrats do,
and it's so covert.
Oh God!
So people sit there like, well, no, they wouldn't do all of that. That's, you don't know your history and you don't know the tactics. I give you something simple, just like well, no, they're not trying to push us back into segregation and this. They're not gonna openly say that, but what they will do is pull back on restrictions.
Rezone
and pull exactly. See, there you go. Hey, we're gonna pull back on these restrictions and allow people to choose this and this and that. And then next thing you know, without calling it redlining, now they're back to redlining again. Now they're back to
restricting us from business loans and opportunities that again enrich our lives.
That's going on now.
Yeah, and imagine being worse.
It will get much worse. It can get much worse, and that's when we don't realize.
We never said America was great, ever. We realize that. But imagine even being back where we were 30, 40 years ago. That wasn't that long ago. I'm 40 years old. 43 to be exact. So these things, women were just able to buy homes like in the late 60s, early 70s without a man.
Did we get it all out?
Did we get it all out?
We got more than that out. More than enough.
Here's the final message. I'll say this election should let the Democrats be able to get back and reflect how they can change up their message. And if they double down on what they've been doing on identity politics, they're going to have the same results in 2020, in the next election, and 2028 going forward. Because one, people generally don't trust legacy media. That's why the legacy media, the viewing ratings were down. I think CNN got like 5.1 million viewers on election night, and the PBD podcast on YouTube got like 30 million live viewers at that time. So people are online. They trust people online more than they trust the legacy media, because when you listen to MSNBC, CNN, CBS, and it's just a Democratic propaganda station, basically 24 hours. When you really look at it, people get a distrust, because I used to watch Rachel Maddow, Keith Olbermann, all the time, and I was deep into it. But after you step back and look and you say, they just basically telling us what we want to hear, and not really telling the truth. And people really just want the truth, and then make up their own mind.
Okay. Thank you for that. And again, we appreciate you being on. Really do. Thanks for coming on. Denise, you got any last words?
Yeah, y'all keep asking questions. Pay attention. Be willing to, watch interviews that you may not typically watch. Like, I watched some of the JD Vance interview, and it took me everything to push myself to actually watch it, because I think he's an asshole. But I was like, just watch it. So don't let.
That's a sharp asshole. That dude is sharp. He's sharp.
Yeah, how much of it did you watch?
Maybe about an hour in. He was going in on pharmaceutical companies. He was going in on.
I saw that also.
Sir, these are closing words, sir. I'm trying to wrap this up.
My bad. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, typically people want to steer you away from the other side of someone else's truth by making you dislike someone. So if you dislike someone from a few sound bites, go and listen anyway. You may still dislike them when it's all said and done, but you may also learn some things too. So never let your dislike and your disdain keep you away from knowledge. That's all I have.
Hookah 9, what you got, sir?
And to add to what Denise was saying, the key word here is education. So if you're going to cast your vote during any type of election on any level, educate yourself, set some time aside to do your homework. So when you go into the voting booth, you know that your vote means something, because you know who you're voting for and what you're voting for, depending on whatever election that may come up. In this particular case, in recent memory, the presidential election. If you make the decision to vote, just make sure you educate yourself as far as learning who these political figures are before you make that conscientious decision, because it has, as far as who you're voting for, some emotional ties to it on many levels. And also to add to that, as far as what Denise is saying, when you are looking at information, whether if you're reading a certain piece or if you're looking at a certain segment of something that's like 3 hours long, take your time to look at the whole thing and then decide your conclusion on the matter, whether they're just going off or taking somebody's word for it. So in all essence, just educate yourself in regards to who you're going to vote for, this, that, and the third, so forth and so on. I end there.
Thank you. Tiara, what you got?
I would just say, hold these people accountable. We don't hold these people accountable to their word. We elect them, we walk away. And that's both parties. And don't really end up with nothing, because if you think about Congress where it's important, they're not even governing. All this is fluff in my eyes. And so hold these people accountable. Not just who won, but who lost, both sides. So,
Nikki.
So, I mean, we already pretty much know where I stand, right? And I can say the same thing every time we have this conversation about what my suggestion is. But I think the most important thing that I think that And it isn't just because we're doing it, but I think the most important thing that can be done is conversations like this. Spaces where people can really and truly say what you want to say, be rebutted in a way in which you may or you may not be prepared for, catch yourself. I mean, these conversations just need to continue to be had, because this is where movement happens. This is where movement is created. This is where ripples are created. This is where, because the Denise that I met when I first met her probably was somebody who would have been a voter. And I'm not saying that like yay to her because she's doing something that I believe in, right? But yay to her for saying, you know what? I need to step out a little bit and see if I choose to not do this thing that I'm so ingrained to do, what's going to happen if I don't? And people don't. And then we wake up the next morning and, we still got to go about our regular business. And, I think having this conversation 7 days later and all of us, to some form of fashion, being able to watch how people responded to this and watch how people treated other people before, during, and after, to see how polarized and how fucking depressed people were over one direction or another. It just, there's so much more going on here besides a two-party system. And if we continue to keep putting all of our faith and our hope into this two-party system, we're going to continuously be disappointed. So we have to keep having these conversations to educate one another, to enlighten one another, to maybe plant a seed in the next person that, hey, just because we've always done it this way doesn't mean we have to keep doing it this way. And the more people who are courageous, the more people who are fucking angry like Toby, the more people who are like, you know what? This ain't it no more. But collectively want there to be change, then that's when we start having these conversations of, okay, now what do we do to make this shit happen? Because voting isn't it. Bitching about who we did or didn't vote for isn't it. Having a two-party system isn't it. Like, that's not it. That's what allows this shit to keep happening. So keep having these conversations. Keep exploring how you interpersonally feel about this shit. If you feel upset and disgusted and disappointed and depressed and let down and all these things, that's all right, man. You got to process that shit, because continuing to do the same thing, expecting different results, is never going to get us anywhere. So just keep coming to these types of conversations. And if you don't know what to say, then don't. Just listen and then go do some research. And it's okay to make your own decision. And I think that is what we're going to finally see more people doing, is not even just holding them accountable, acknowledging that this is way bigger than them. This is us. We the people. Like, literally, it is us. We got to hold ourselves accountable first before we can hold another person accountable. So I don't know. Just keep asking questions. Just keep having these conversations. Keep being vulnerable. Keep being wrong. Keep being wrong, but be willing to learn something different, I guess, because this, for me, somebody who is checked out of this was really sad to see what happened to people. And I was so bothered day 2 to see how many Black women went after Black men, and how much white media tried to go after Black men, and how much gay media tried to go after Black men. I was like, damn. And it's really hard. It's really hard to watch that as a third person perspective and try to remain neutral. Like, and then the day 3, the statistics come out, and who knows if statistics are right or not, but let's say that they are. To say that they were the number 2 category that voted the most for her, it's like, well, who painted the picture yesterday that it's their fault? So we continue to do this divisionary shit. We're never gonna get anywhere. They're winning. They're still winning. It's we the people, man. We the people. This shit was sad to watch. We have a long time free thinker family friend member who really took this really hard. And I've watched him kind of emotionally unravel a little bit on social media. A few friends of mine, actually. At one point, I was like, God damn, you were literally posting every hour a different just paragraph after paragraph. And I'm like, I try to take my emotions out of it coming from a fucking white woman in America, right? And I try to be sensitive to why people may respond in situations like this the way that they do, how that affects them, that maybe it wouldn't affect me. But it was a lot. People had, I really feel like people had the white savior Jesus thing going on with, like, they was really fucking mad. They was really mad. So we have to, I think that deserves being looked at. And I hope that that's something that's been a takeaway for a lot of people who may have been a little bit on the fence, who may have been a little reserved, but still went ahead and did duty, but are not really sure how they feel about it. Good. I guess this is where we have to be to get to where hopefully maybe we can get to.
So all I'll say is this is all illusion of choice. It reminds me of I can't remember. Do you remember the book, Nikki? I remember on Black Tea Talk, Smack was talking about this book where it had the slave owner.
Yeah.
He went up to all the slaves and he was like, you know what? I'm a fair man. I'm gonna let y'all choose who you want to be your master. Yep. You could choose me or you could choose my brother, whichever one you want. Then hey, we'll give you the option.
Yep.
But they were still slaves on there. They still was beating them. They still had no freedom. And they gave them the illusion that they had a choice. This is really the same thing. So I pay attention. I pay attention to trends. And I pay attention to history. So even I looked this up. I'm looking this up right now. Do you know since the establishment of the two-party system, after they got rid of the Federalists and the Whigs and all of that, this is back early 1800s. There's ain't no such thing as that much of a coincidence. You hear me say this oftentimes, and I give y'all my Walmart argument about Walmart is in cahoots with Target and stuff like that. Two entities in competition can only stay neck and neck for so long until somebody eventually wins out. I said this about back in the early 80s. There was competition between McDonald's and Burger King. Eventually, McDonald's won. Like somebody eventually wins. Walmart, eventually, they put Sears and they put Kmart, they put all them other stores out. Somebody eventually, you cannot go neck and neck forever unless it's a rigged race. That's like Toby or Yahukanan, you might know this if y'all ever played them arcade games, especially the little driving games. They wanted to stay close, so you never get too far in front of the other person because they'd allow the other person to get back into it. They wanted you to get that photo finish, and you'd be like, "Oh, I barely won at the end. Let's play again."
Play some more quarters. Yeah, play some more quarters.
They do, and it's the illusion, like, "Oh, it was just that close." So, since the early 1800s, there's never been one party win more than 3 consecutive times before the other party wins again. Even in the last 60, 70 years, they haven't won even more than twice. How is that possible?
That's crazy.
That one party doesn't eventually. So that's why I'm not worried about Trump and the Republicans. It's all a setup and it's all a game. No matter what he implements and puts in, they're going to have another Democrat come in either next cycle or the one after that. And he's going to come back and undo everything that Trump did. And then the next Republican is going to come back and undo everything. And it just leaves us in the same state that we've always been in. You're never going to get the actual, you're going to get glimpses of progress that you think you're seeing. And the next party is going to bring it back. But the 1% wants you to stay right there. It's just the illusion of choice that they keep giving to you. Well, if we just keep voting, if we keep doing this and we keep doing this, then we're going to see the long-term change that we're looking for. The game is not even rigged that way. Just pay attention to trends in history and you'll understand that it's never, how is it possible that one party has not completely overthrown the other in 150 years,
Right.
and they just keep. How can you keep
There's
doing that for
something wrong
150
there.
years? Just give me any other scenario where that happens, where two people just go neck and neck for 150 years. Somebody goes out of business. Somebody falls off. Somebody goes bankrupt. Somebody
gonna tap out.
Somebody taps out at some point. And the fact that it hasn't, it's a rigged game. So again, I don't worry about that stuff. Just pay attention to what I say.
Hey, really quick, I want to give a quick shout out to Nikki and Q for y'all radio interview. That was very tremendous and amazing to watch. So I want to give y'all flowers live and in living color. Give y'all a shout out.
Thank you.
Hey,
yeah,
just represent free thinkers.
Denise said it perfectly. She was like, if I wasn't already a member, she's like, that would have sold me. I was like, yes. It was a great conversation.
And of course, shout out to our free thinker, Edward. You know, we got people all around help get us in them doors.
Absolutely. Thank you, Edward. Thank you, KPI. That was so fun. And I think I want to call in every Tuesday because Edward's there every Tuesday. I called in last Tuesday. I was like, I think we're gonna do this every Tuesday.
Yeah. So yeah, always check that out. And then, you know, of course, if you're not in Austin, you can always go to the website. Just go to KZI 88.7. You can listen live anywhere that you at. So again, Kevin, shout out to Kevin, but Edward is there. Also Stacy Shea is there as well. So, you know, like I said, free thinkers worldwide. We all over the place. So just rock with us and pay attention to us wherever we at. We gonna keep it moving.
And invite us to your show. We will pull up. It ain't nothing but we will pull up. So you got a spot for us? Let us know. We will show up. And I proved that I can do a whole 45-minute segment with no foul language. So it's safe. I promise.
I was nervous. I don't be nervous when she's regularly talking, but when I see her ramping, I'm like, uh-oh. Once she start ramping, I'm like, oh shoot.
He's like, it's very possible. No, it was great. It was great. And it was crazy because I was like, why hadn't we done this before? What the hell? You know?
Hey, I got a suggestion when you're done, Nikki.
Go ahead.
At the end of the show, if you guys can promote like what's going on in the city for those who are in the city can attend to in case they don't know. Like a carnival or a light show or something like that. Just something that's going on within a concert or whatever. Just get the information. It's just something to do. If that could be done at the end of the show or whatever. Just a suggestion.
On ours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we used to do that. Well, that's and that's final words. You know. Pump up, promote whatever going on. If you know anything going on, then that's, get your last word to say that. So
sure.
Sure. Absolutely. Next week we will be on for 1 hour and 15 minutes. So come on time. We are doing a hard pre-close. We closing before the close.
I think we have a great topic for next week though. Do you want to tell them what we talked about on Free Thinker?
I don't even remember. What is it?
I forget. Who gets invited to the barbecue?
Okay, so hold on. Say that again. Oh, okay. Hold on. Tell me about it.
The barbecue.
Oh,
what was it about? I remember that, but I don't remember the context.
It was just, hold on. Good night. Love you. It was just rules about how everybody can't come to the barbecue. What you know what I'm saying? Like who can, who can't, and because I think it started from just, the covert racist, right? Who, says all lives matter. We started talking about this at the beginning of the freaking Tuesday night in person. And it was regarding, certain white people that come to barbecue and too many people being invited to the barbecue, too many non-black people being invited to the barbecue. Like, what are the rules to be invited to the barbecue?
Who get to walk in those spaces? Yeah.
Yeah. Being in spaces or not being in the, just who's in those spaces.
I don't know if that is that good. Y'all think we can get a whole segment from that? Like a whole episode?
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My
my list is pretty short.
Which I think that rightfully it should be, but I think a lot of people's list is very long and it's very encompassing and it lets everybody in and everybody don't need to be in. It's coming from me.
I don't personally know you can't come.
Invite only.
Invite only. Personal invite only.
Right. But you know, we can always do a couple more topics too. You know,
And
we
when
can
you
always
come, bring a dish.
throw a couple in. Yeah, that part.
What, Q?
Right.
Your brain is doing
no. Yeah, I'm gonna save it for next week. It's working. I'm gonna save it for next week.
So that's it. Next
All
week.
right, y'all. 3 hours.
All right, yes.
3 hours. That's a record. That's a record.
It ain't a record, but it need to be.
right.
Uh,
Good night.